Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here on this American holiday. You know, we didn't have anything else to do today. So here we are. We've got a very special, wonderful episode planned for today where we talk about self-care because self-care is so important for everyone, but especially for creative folks like us. And to help me discuss this today, we have the wonderful, talented person who works on digital rats. It's Laura! Yay! And you know him. I love him. He's our technical producer and also my brother. It's Tom. And this whole season is his pitch. Yay! Yay! And before we go much further, Maggie is here. And then
gone.
Company showed up and now gone. Also, Jen writes romance is here. Hello, hello.
Hello, Jen.
Phoebe is here. Yep, pop it in. Yes, hello. Well, here we are. It's the 4th of July. And in America, that definitely means it's going to be filled with fireworks. So if you hear any, it's probably coming from mine and Tom's mics because we literally live down the street and around the corner from a fireworks stand where they need to practice and show off their wares.
And so we are safe. It is not the revolution coming.
Also, the trees are very wet. It's been raining for days because how do you seed clouds? You shoot dirt into them. You know, like fireworks. And that's how you get wet clouds to release their rain. So it has been raining and storming for days, that somehow magically match the same amount of time that it has been every time we get fireworks. So within an hour or two of getting fireworks every time, we get rain. So the trees and the roofs are totally fine here. Absolutely fine. Do not worry. The revolution is not coming for us. Not yet, anyway.
Hey, Cherry.
Hello.
And look,
Megan has her quesadilla, and BA is here. Hello, hello. And Charlie is here. Hello, sweetie.
Enjoy the poll.
Do we have a poll up?
Yes, I'm a very wicked person.
Let's see. The poll says, when was your last spa day? The past week, past month, past year. I need one bad. These are the options.
Does a massage count as a spa day?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah. You took a self-care time period for yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a whole day. But
in general, at least an hour, preferably 2 or 3. Because it's just what it really is you've had a few hours that you purposefully set aside to relax and not feel in any kind of danger. Like you really let your body relax, which isn't very common anymore. And that's part of the importance of spa days.
Mm-hmm.
Is to let yourself know you are relaxed. Hey, Morgan.
Hello, Morgan Lee is here.
Oh, look, Cherry is just getting ahead of everyone.
Very nice.
Nice.
Charlie's not feeling well. Been sick to my stomach all day and only just woke up. I'm going to try to get some words in while I'm watching y'all. Cool, cool. And Sherry says today was shower and full skincare routine, including a mask. Very nice.
Nice.
And for some reason, I can't get our show to load on the TV because that's how I monitor it. So, y'all let me know if you're having any problems watching us, if you can see us at all.
Today's lunch break. Today's lunch break was a bath. and reading stuff.
Yes.
And it was
Laura was
perfect.
telling me about her lovely new bath bombs that she got, and she tested one out at lunch.
It was one of these that has rosemary in it.
Oh, so pretty.
I was watching.
Hello, Spence.
I was
Spence
watching
was
over the
here and
weekend.
forgot to hit enter when answering the poll.
I was catching up on my watch later, especially some of my ones that have been on there for quite a while. So, like Food Wishes, going over his favorite Thanksgiving recipes. And what I heard, what every single recipe had in common was, and go light on the rosemary. It has a tendency to overpower everything else.
That's what I love about it as a bush.
This is true.
I feel
and they're
like
hardy. They are hard to kill.
Well, down here in South Mississippi, they're hard
Yeah.
to kill. I imagine they may be easy to kill, like wherever it snows.
They were pretty hardy in California.
Yeah, like I bought a rosemary bush one year for Christmas, and was when it was before I really started trying to practice gardening. And so I was expecting it to die, within a couple months, because I did not have confidence in myself as a gardener. And 3 years later, she was still doing great. Every Christmas we'd just decorate her for Christmas. It was an outside bush.
Aww.
She'd grown. She went from like this cute little bush, just a little topiaried Christmas tree type, to a big baby. She a big baby. I got her a big pot. And she was like, oh, room to stretch out, and became a very impressive bush that I kept by my front door, so that anytime somebody passed by, because she was a big baby, you tended to brush by her and then you'd smell rosemary. And I just thought that was like such a nice way to welcome people into the house, is with the smell of rosemary. Because rosemary is the leaves they do look kind of like pine, but they're very soft. So when you brush by, most people tend not to notice it because it doesn't hurt. And even the limbs are not that thick and woody. And so they're just like, oh, rosemary. Are you cooking? Like, no, you just passed by a rosemary bush. Oh, I didn't even notice. So it was like a little housewarming sort of trick that I'd inadvertently come up with when I was just trying to buy a clearance tiny Christmas tree bush.
But, all right, so let's talk about self-care. And this sort of goes with meditation class. Part of the reason why we have to do self-care is we need our health. We need it so bad to do all the fun stuff we like to do. And self-care is when you take that time to do self-assessment. You look at yourself, you check on yourself. How am I doing physically? How am I doing mentally? And then, you know what? I can just relax for a little bit. This is maintenance time. As everyone in IT and engineering, says, you can either schedule your maintenance time, or your maintenance time will be scheduled for you by the equipment.
Yep.
And that will be a lot longer.
And more expensive, usually.
Yeah.
And this is a real thing they do say in IT maintenance. Is you either schedule the maintenance time, or the maintenance time will schedule for you. But there's no way to get around it. And that is the truth.
And so that's why, I thought this was part of the essential life skills, class set for this season. Yes, that's why we're talking about self-care and, relaxing and doing all these things that we've sort of convinced ourselves, but we're adults. We can take care of ourselves. Why do we need to, set aside this time? Because you're adults. You got a lot more responsibilities. You need to be functional when you need to be functional. So, and I thought, and I when we were talking about this show on Wednesday for making up the YouTube stuff, Glory brought up some stories she had from when she was among the very rich, um, from a while ago, that I thought really helped bring explain the title, and it's also explain why it's important. Why don't you tell us
What?
about their parties?
Okay, so, well, I guess like where to start would be, so I married into a family where my spouse was not moneyed, but his mother's many of her siblings were very moneyed. They'd almost all the rest of them had married into a lot of multi-generational wealth. And when I say wealth, I mean where it's a 2-income household and both incomes are more than $1 million cash a year. And that does not include all the properties they own. So every one of these families, except for my mother-in-law, had family trusts to put their property into, so no one could take their house away, that sort of thing. So that is the sort of environment that I was essentially socializing with in my in-laws, because the people who live closest to us were all the moneyed folk, and my direct in-laws actually lived like 2,000 miles away. And because I have a lot of office management and secretarial skills due to my mother training me. My mother's been, or mother was an office manager and a paralegal pretty much her entire working life. And so she had, by the time I was 14, I started working for her at various offices that she worked at, so that I could both, have money, years being paid into Social Security, as well as to be trained on how to run offices. And so I had a very useful skill to these families in that I was family, but I also knew how to run offices. So there was a certain expectation of extra privacy from me. So I got to know these families very well, like how their finances are run. And because of this, they felt some sort of need to also make sure I socialized with them, like to make sure that I felt that I was part of this. And I guess also in the hopes of watching me to make sure that I'm not a blabbermouth, which I really think that people's finances are for the most part, their own business, unless they are committing crimes. Breaking the law, I have a very different opinion. But everybody was actually above board. They went through lawyers. They were doing everything legally correct. So, yeah, okay, I'll file your stuff for you. Like literally set up your filing system. No problem. And so I was invited to a lot of intimate family get-togethers of 100 or more people. Yes. So when I say family, it's like extended family. It's a lot of in-laws at the pool for the weekend. Like every bedroom in a 20-bedroom house has like people sleeping in it because everybody is staying for the weekend. So that was like the environment. I was in that for about 12 years. I was so 12, 13 years. So that was like the sort of situation. So when I say I spent a lot of time with them, I really did spend like 3 to 4 days a week, most weeks out of over a decade with these folks. Ike was among them. So sometimes I talk about Ike. Ike was my best friend at the time. He was twice my age. And Ike was probably a big reason why I was accepted so quickly into this extended wealthy family, was because Ike and I immediately got along. And so that is the environment in which I was socializing with them. It wasn't like occasional socializing. It was like I was always there. The dogs listened to me when the dogs did not listen to anyone else. At all these different houses, the dogs listened to me and did not listen to most other people. So everybody just assumed, well, if everybody's dogs listen to Glory, she must be at that person's house all the time when I'm not there. So, da da da. And so, but I never really felt part of the family for a couple reasons. And number one being, they were like so wealthy. I could not relate. Tom and I grew up so poor. Like, we looked up at the poverty line. And when you are below the poverty line in Mississippi, you are real poor. Like, that's what we call dirt poor. And what dirt poor means is you're so poor, you can't afford a floor, you got dirt. That is dirt poor. And yes, there are still to this day a few homes that have no flooring.
Or Poe without the R.
Yeah, it's just dirt. It's just hard packed dirt inside the house. That is dirt poor. And here are people who have literally never been hungry a day in their life. They've never missed a meal ever. And I just could not relate. Also, there was a lot of materialism going on inside this culture. And again, our parents just raised us so differently that I did not feel like I was a part of it. I always felt like an outside observer. Does that mean that one Christmas I asked and was given permission to record their Christmas so I could have documentation? Yes, it does. Yes, I do still have this recording. It was the pageant of the 7 deadly sins, y'all.
Straight up.
So that is the sort of situation I was in. Like, essentially, I was there as much, if not more, than most other family members, because most of the, kids were all grown up and adults and were starting to start their own families. And I was there as much, if not more than them, because I was actually working. I was running several home offices in several of these people's homes all over Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia for the most part. And so I was going to people's homes, not unlike what I was doing when I was 15 and 16, setting up personal libraries. I was sort of doing similar to establishing people's home offices so they could then run it themselves, but I was essentially setting up the whole structure. So that is what the environment I was in. And yeah, almost every weekend somebody had a party. And when I say it was a party, it lasted 7 to 12 hours, and then it would pick up the next day and the party would continue. There was always a second party on Sunday after church. Always. After church. They'd go to church to be seen. And then they would then go home and have afternoon lunch. And then everybody would show up back, especially in the summertime and during Christmas season, would show up back at the party house for the rest of the evening through Sunday. And that was, most weekends. It was like, oh my God, it was so much partying. And so when, like, what I was experiencing with them was really being able to observe their entire culture all the time. And one of the things I noticed is I used to think that I thought that they were always so concerned about skincare, because I noticed no matter what house I was staying at, and they were all the time inviting me to stay at their, oh, Gloria, you should come up this weekend. And I'm like, oh, I can't really afford the hotel and everything because I'm in college and I have my own video store that I'm running. And they're like, oh, no, you stay with us. You stay in our guest room or our guest house. And I'd be like, oh, okay, because, like, what a novel experience for me. And sure, I want to, like, see how the other side live, how did the other half live? And there was, in every guest room, in every guest house, there was a full complement of like a Clinique counter of skincare. Neutrogena, the full line. Clinique, the full line. And then whatever was the latest prescription products for acne, what the whole line. There's often retinol in there, although I was told that after a while they stopped putting the retinol A in there because people kept lifting it. Guests would lift it and take it home because everybody was using retinol A, which is like, what is it, like a low grade skin peel?
So retinol is vitamin A. It is the active form of vitamin A. It is most often if you have, I was actually just watched something on this recently. If you have bumpy skin, it is most often the culprit of it. It is sort of the go-to if you want your skin to look better, because when you apply retinol A as a cream onto your skin, it speeds up the skin generation cycle, and so you can more quickly get to younger, healthy skin by putting it on. The downside of this being it does make you more photosensitive. So if you put on retinol A, especially if you've ever been prescribed it, they will tell you do not go out in the sun for the next 12 hours to 24 hours. Make sure you put on sunblock. Like it's a real drug.
Like you have to put on a lot of sunblock, and most people still get burnt because they're not used to being that sun sensitive.
Yeah, it's a fat soluble vitamin, but it can have very strong effects, especially when applied locally.
So initially, I thought it was kind of strange that they were all so obsessed with skincare. I thought it was seen as some sort of status thing to have clear skin. And I thought it was also an unreasonable obsession with beauty to be expecting teenagers to not have acne.
Not have any blemishes.
And I found that later that really wasn't the case. I mean, like to some degree, many of them did acknowledge that, like, just being, avoiding being obsessed with unreasonable sense of beauty is difficult for everyone, including the wealthy. Like they are all reading the same magazines, They're all like, they all had subscriptions to Vogue and to Cosmopolitan and those kind of magazines that perpetuate, teens with clear skin. Are you kidding? That is not real. That is photoshopped, or that is excessive amounts of makeup. But that's not real because, like, everybody is going to have a certain amount of skin eruptions during puberty because of the nature of hormones. There's just no way around it. It's just part of the resettling of hormones.
I finally found out why.
What you got?
I was watching, again, catching up on old videos, and just coincidence. And it's the same one where he was talking about retinol A and vitamin A and its effects. But he was talking about, essentially what causes bumpy skin.
Mm-hmm.
And we also got into, vitamin A is usually the main culprit. There are a few others. It's also why you tend to see bumpy skin and blemishes that are not necessarily acne, but they're definitely irritated follicles in women with PCOS.
Mm-hmm.
And men.
Yeah, I've got a few.
Often. Yeah. You ready for what's that cause?
Androgen
in the skin.
Yes. Which
is why teenagers are most prone, because they have such large amounts of hormone, especially, I don't know how to say pink and blue hormones, all of the male and female hormones in higher amounts. Mm-hmm. And when the male hormones, specifically androgen, get into the skin and stay there, it causes the skin to get harder. It makes it harder for hair follicles to erupt correctly. Mm-hmm. And instead get trapped under the skin where they get irritated. And that's why teenagers tend to have so much more blemishes, but also why pregnant women also can get, what people call, pregnancy acne.
Mm-hmm.
is, again, it's that sudden increase in androgen in the skin
Yeah.
that causes this side effect. And so, yeah, it's just part of being a teenager.
So eventually I felt comfortable enough to mention, like, why are y'all all so obsessed with skin? I think it's unreasonable to expect teenagers to have clear skin. And, you know, the reply I received from many people in this extensive social circle of wealth, of generational wealth, was, oh, nobody thinks teenagers should have clear skin. But the philosophy among this social circle was skin is an outward sign of internal health. And what is the point of money if you cannot use it to try to have optimal internal health? So that is why they value the look and appearance of each other's skin so much, and why, yes, I was at parties, you know, these long parties where people would have interventions about what's going on with your skin. It looks dull and yellow. And like an intervention, like, I have a dermatologist on speed dial. Let me call him and see if he's busy and he could come to the party and check your skin and also party with us. And yes, his wife would then show up in a bikini. And then they're going to go to the pool while he, like, let me check your skin. You know what? Okay, here, I'm going to write you a prescription. I'm going to have you have a bunch of blood tests. We need to check your liver. That sort of. But that is why, because...
And no, really, that is a lot of it. Like,
it
if your
literally
liver's not
happened.
happy,
I'm not good at exaggerating. It literally happened 30 different times. For different skin problems where, like, the dermatologist is like, oh, I was hoping you guys would call. My wife was just like, oh, we never get invited. I was like, please. And I'm like, if you want to come, you know, you could just call me and I'll get you an invite. Again, like, I was this, you know, middle-class go-between in their minds. I was a socially acceptable way to allow people to sort of toe dip into their elite social circle. And so, yeah, like, that was, so again, that was another task that I started being delegated, which is to have the professionals have a way to come to the very nice elite parties. And also, while they're there, check everybody. Check all the moles. Check the... Ditto for the lawyers. You know, to answer all the legal questions at the party. So this was how they did it. And again, how the rich save money. Because did they pay for the dermatologist to come to the party with his wife and they got to swim and play around? No, they paid, of course, for the blood tests later on Monday when they would go to get their blood drawn. And, you know, they'd pay or have their insurance pay for the visit to the doctor, but not the initial, do I need to see somebody? No, they didn't pay for that. They didn't pay for the initial just legal questions. Like, what do you think about this? Do you think this is like at the lawyer who came to the party? And, you know, then they introduced him to several women who he might be interested in dating. No, they did not pay him. They did not pay him for that initial consultation. Hours and hours of legal questions he fielded, even in the hot tub and the pool. Hours of, I'm like, and I told him when he left that night, I'm like, you definitely earned your invite. Because he's like, oh, this was so wonderful. And I'm like, you earned your invite. I heard how many questions. He's like, it was a lot, wasn't it? And I was like, I hope that they will, like, back off on the legal questions. Just, I didn't think that they needed a lawyer at the party, but if you are interested, I'll invite you again next time. He's like, here's my card. Yes, please invite me. Because this was definitely, you know, networking opportunities as well. But that was, like, their obsession with skincare made a lot more sense when you interpret it as how your skin looks says a lot about your health. So again, when I was talking about it backstage, one of the things that I thought was the, like, oddest, most surreal experience was at most of these parties, if anybody was trying a new multivitamin, they would bring the bottle and go, oh, do we have a little platter? Of course they wanted one of the pretty little silver platters that I knew where it was kept behind lock and key. So I would go get it because, yes, I did keep a key to most people's silver cabinets. It was a very weird relationship. And I would, like, let me make it be pretty. Okay, now you go pass them around. And they would, like, literally offer them to every guest. would you like to try my new multivitamin? Like, oh, don't mind if I do. Everybody would take one. There's no drugs in them. It's just a multivitamin, y'all. And even if it was a multivitamin for a woman, all the men tried them because you never know. And the folic acid and iron's not going to hurt. You know, like, but I'm talking like 60 people be like, oh, I want to try one. It's a multivitamin. How will you know if one works? You know? But again, like, you do know, it turned out, if you take one and you immediately feel sick, that's not a good one for you. And that's a thing that can happen. So they would do this all the time. Everybody would hear about, oh, what is your new company that you're trying out? Oh, and then they'd all discuss investing and like, what is the like investment risk? What is it? So again, this was all networking opportunities as well as money-making opportunities. But it was very much skincare, nutrition-centric. So another thing I noticed about them, again, in the realm of nutrition and skincare, that was like, for me, kind of surprising. Again, because I grew up very dirt poor. And even the other people I used to socialize with as a kid was middle-class folks. I had never had opportunities to socialize with the stinking rich. And what I noticed, like, that was so strange was they only ever ate in-season fruit. Never ate out-of-season fruit, ever. Like, you practically have to beg them. And it's like, I froze the blueberries. We picked them literally the prime week they were in season, and we froze them that day. I bagged them up in a zip-top bag and put them in the deep freeze. And they haven't been touched since then. And now it is wintertime, and I'm making blueberry bread pudding. Please, I promise you, it is in season if you think about it right. And they're like, okay, I guess I'll eat it. That sort of, like, it's an entire culture of never eating out of season fruit. But when the fruit is in season, they eat a lot. Like, that is one of the main snacks that they eat between meals is fruit. And they do, like, even the people, quote, watching their weight, because, you know, again, that whole ridiculous standards of beauty sort of, as I said, they couldn't be entirely free of it. But even the people who were on, say, Sugar Buster diet, like, these are people telling me, oh, no, I'm on Sugar Busters. And then they're eating huge fistfuls of blueberries. And I'm like, you know, blueberries have sugar, right? And like, yeah, but it's fruit. And it's in season. Like, I don't think Sugar Busters really meant that. I'm like, I think they did. But okay, you live your life. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. Because I had a boss who was like obsessed with Sugar Busters when I was her bookkeeper. And oh, did she tell me every single nook and cranny of how Sugar Busters is run that I did not care for and never have wanted this knowledge. But I know way too much of Sugar Busters. Way too much.
I've never heard of them before.
Oh, well, you have missed out, and you should be grateful.
Oh.
And down here in the Deep South, you'll actually come across at certain restaurants, there will be a whole Sugar Busters menu, or various menu items will actually have a little Sugar Busters like icon picture on it to let you know this is a Sugar Busters approved type of meal. So it is still very popular, even though not as many people do Sugar Busters anymore. It's not like that bad of a diet. But again, like, I feel like moderation in everything, and also let's not make certain foods forbidden because of what it does to the human psychological brain. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But anyhow, but that was the biggest surprise for me, was that everybody among the wealthy, and even the, you know, people who were wealthy who were not directly in the same social circles, who I essentially ended getting loaned out to for various jobs when like a law firm would need some inside knowledge about a certain person or whatever, I would be the one, or Gloria will translate for us kind of thing. Oh, yeah. Or I want you to hear this guy's stories. And the only way I can get him to actually talk is he only talks when he's at work. So guess what? You're going to intern for him for a week so that you can hear his stories, because this guy has some wild stories. And because they knew I was a storyteller, and what is the one thing storytellers do is collect other stories. So they were helpful in that regard. And one day you all will get to read these wild stories. But anyway, so that was the thing I found so surprising. So what they eat only in season fruit. So apples during apple season, and they don't eat apples any other time of the year. Absolutely not. If all the fruit is out of season, they eat nuts. And so to this day, I still think of Christmas as nut season instead of fruit season. Like that is just a thing that, and it was so interesting of this belief. But if I since found out that in season fruit has so many more nutrients than out of season fruit, and even in season fruit that's traveled a far distance to get to you. Because like vitamin C starts degrading, as do other nutrients in fruit. And the quality of the nutrients do start degrading the older the fruit gets, even when it is in season. So there is a certain truth to this. So that was like the biggest surprise for me, was these people only eat in season fruit. Oh, this is what real wealth is. But fascinating, since the cheapest fruit is in season fruit usually. But that was my experience. Have I forgotten anything you wanted me to say, Tom?
No, I think that was about it. Of the, especially that part of where they would even have interventions, that this was not actually about maintaining unrealistic beauty expectations, even though from a distance it often does look that way. It is more of, your skin tends to show health problems even before you will start to really often feel them and notice them. And so if you can get them addressed early, also it costs a lot less. It's before it really becomes, disease level, when it's just at syndrome level and it's something treatable. And it's something, it is actually another way they do actually save money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, there was one thing that sort of leads into the next conversation point, but how they all plan ahead, like in their year, when their spa times are. Both in, in the month of, here's my little spa times where I'll take a few hours off for, visiting the esthetician or getting massage or such, but also how they then also planned out their, week-long vacation spa to truly just let themselves decompress.
Also, I just remembered that they were the ones who taught me that your nails and how your nails look actually can tell a lot about your nutrition. They're the ones who taught me to Google like all the time what any change in my nails. So, okay, so it used to be pretty much my whole life up until that point when they told me. So I would get these little horizontal white striations on my nails. And I just thought, oh, I had bumped my finger and didn't remember it. But hold on, let's make you big.
Let's see if I can show this one.
It doesn't. There, almost. There.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So that. Do you see how it's obviously not an actual injury on the nail? It's in the nail, but it's not like there's a dent in the nail or anything to indicate a trauma. Okay. So that is actually an indicator of low-level anemia. And you cannot be at optimum health if you're anemic. And
or if
why?
you're just slamming your fingers into things. It is
No comment.
like, that's why I tend to get them.
ADHD much? Okay. But and there is a way, if you do notice those on your fingers without talking to your doctor, you can check. And it's this handy dandy little device. Have y'all met the oximeter? For as little, sometimes I've seen them as low as 15. I may be dying. Don't worry. I did take my inhaler. It's going to be okay. There, it's going up. It's going up. I'm alive. For as little, I've seen it on Amazon as low as $15 US, but it's usually around $20. Get the ones with alarm, just so you know. But you can test your oxygen if your blood ox is low. What is low? Low is anything below 97%. So 95 is the bottom of okay. It's not great. And there is a reason why yes, I did take my inhaler earlier because I saw that it was getting a little low, which usually means I'm dealing with asthma, and I'm just so used to the chest tightness I don't even notice it, so that's why I have to use this. But like anything below 95%, and it'll start blinking, because that bad, you need to deal with it. But so the issue is, if you're anemic, you're going to be on the lower end. And again, if you're on the lower end of blood oxygen, your organs are low level starved for oxygen. Your brain's not getting as much oxygen as it ideally wants. Your liver and your heart and your pancreas and your kidneys all want more oxygen than they're getting. That's a concern. That is a genuine concern. There's plenty of other things, like if you get, I've got nail polish on, but like the vertical striations, that speaks to various mineral deficiencies, like magnesium deficiency. So there is anything, even like if your nails are flaking off, like the corners. Has anybody ever had that happen? I had that happen to me, where the edges would break, but they'd split like they were like sheets coming off. That could be a bunch of things, and all of the possibilities are go get your blood tested by your doctor. So for me, when it happened several years ago, it turned out I definitely need to get my TSH checked. My thyroid was not doing well, and the doctor needed to up my prescription for my thyroid medication. That's what it meant for me. But it actually can mean several things, and none of them are good. They are all, you need to go get your blood tested and tell your doctor. But before you even do that, you can Google nail splitting. What could it be? So they also taught me about the state of your nails says a lot about your health. And in fact, it was often these doctors in the family and outside the family who socialized with them that were the ones who told me that. Because like at a long party, like a 7-hour or longer party, there are lulls. And that's one of the things I learned, is it's okay to have lulls at parties. But in a lull, people are looking for something to talk about. And so if you start picking your nails, like I would invariably do, because, ADHD. And also it's a stim that makes me feel comfortable in, awkward moments, as I pick at my nails. I do that a lot below in my lap. Like a doctor would notice and go, hey, what's going on with your nails? And because they're bored, and I was like, oh, it keeps splitting, and I try not to pick at it, but it does. And they're like, let me look. And I'm like, oh, you need to get your blood tested. That could be a listing 5 things it could be. I'm like, is that what I should tell my doctor? And they're like, yeah. Call your doctor on Monday, tell him. I did. The nurse at first was like, oh, nail splitting is not really a thing. Well, there was this doctor at the party, and he said I should call because it could be da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, oh, yeah, let's get you scheduled. Go ahead and get that blood drawn. You don't have to come in for this. Just get your blood drawn at this location, and we'll call you if it's anything. So, and yes, that is how I originally got diagnosed with a thyroid problem. So again, like the skin the interventions about your skincare. Oh, your skin does not look good. What's going on? Or, the nails thing, all of that. I did not realize there were so many outside indicators of internal health if you know what it means. But now we have this absolutely wonderful resource called search engines, and you could just Google it. So what I do when I'm Googling it is I will Google nail striations deficiency, just to see like what are the different striations, meaning which different kinds of deficiency. Because often I don't know what is the jargon medical word for whatever's going on with my nails. So I have to like just like find like, and by the way, there are whole dermatologist textbooks available for free download, PDFs with pictures of all sorts of stuff that you can then search through these textbooks and find all the questions to all your concerns about skin and everything that you can then talk to your doctor about if it looks like you may have that. Because like these textbooks will also say like you need 5 out of the 9 and that sort of thing of the symptom, to then, and then this you test for it. So it's one of those, beware of diagnosing yourself, but definitely use it as a tool to see if you do need to talk to your doctor about it.
Or go talk to your doctor to get a referral to the dermatologist.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun. Although, luckily, there is a dermatology clinic here that accepts walk-ins.
Ooh, nice.
For like 2 hours, like first thing in the morning. So like, oh my gosh, the lineup starts at like 6 a.m.
That's nice. My favorite thing at the summer parties was the first summer party of the season. That's where the pool is finally, it's warm enough to finally use the pools. It would be like, is somebody inviting a dermatologist? Because what would happen is everybody, since it's the first pool party of the summer, everybody would wear their swimsuits and then like, check me for moles, doctor. Everybody would get checked by the doctor. He's sitting there drinking and smoking cigars. Literally, one hand is whiskey and one is a cigar. And he's like, all right, turn around. All right, move your thighs. Okay. No, that one's okay. Nah, get a pen. Mark that one. And that everybody would take it to, they'd all line up. They'd all line up for jumping in the pool. All the men are pulling up their shorts. And we're all like, woohoo. And some of them are like, let me get close to show you my balls. There's a spot. Like, okay, what you got? As he's still like, the cigar in one hand, the whiskey. All right, what you got?
Oh my gosh.
Every year it was this way. And I'm like, that's not actually a bad idea to do it at the start. And then when the pool was going to close, which they wouldn't close the pool till after Labor Day weekend. Usually they didn't close the pools. The pools didn't get too cold till like the end of September, early October. The pools were always closed by Halloween though at the houses. But somewhere around the last pool party of the season, they'd also do one last mole check. And there would be usually 1 or 2 dermatologists invited to the party, and they're all drinking and smoking real close to your body. They go, all right, let me see. Well, why is that red? Like, I don't know. Why is that red? He's like, let me touch. You don't mind. He's like, then he dips in the whiskey. Like, is that really? All right. Poking, going, does that hurt? No. Circle it. There's the wife, the world's skimpiest bikini, circling stuff on you. Okay, so that you'd know on Monday what to come in to have checked. Yes, this is how I learned that. I learned from 2 different country doctors that they had never had anybody's suspicious mole turn out to be cancerous if it was growing hair. So while I personally, as an early 20-something, was rather self-conscious, I had several moles that had hair, that grew hair, and I was self-conscious of it because witchy. They were absolutely unconcerned with any hairy moles because, as they said, I've never had a hairy mole on anyone we've ever tested turn out to be cancerous. It seems to be either one or the other. Either it grows hair or it grows cancer, but you can't grow hair and cancer at the same time.
Would you like a quick explanation why?
Sure. Educate the people.
Okay, so this is also the reason why when people get chemotherapy, they tend to lose their hair. It has to do with, so cancer cells, especially like the ones we're worried about, are very fast growing, which means they absorb nutrition quicker than the other cells near them. That's how they grow, is they are out competing. Your hair follicles are some of the fastest growing cells in your body normally. So if you have a cancerous growth on your skin, it will outcompete your hair follicle. And so you won't really develop a hair follicle there or be able to grow any hair because the cancer cell is taking up all the nutrition before the hair follicle can use it. And that is why you tend to see one or the other, or when you get chemotherapy, why most people lose their hair is because the hair is also absorbing it faster than the other cells in your body. And they are essentially also dying as a consequence of chemo.
I gotta go.
Okay.
My coworker needs help.
Okay.
I'm going to the rescue.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that is where I learned that as well, from essentially all these conversations with all these experts. But so if you do happen to have any hairy moles, those are the moles you never have to worry about, no matter how self-conscious or how often you have to shave it. Don't worry.
Hey, I finished the poll.
Uh-huh.
Almost half, 42%, just need one real bad.
Let's see. 42% need one real bad. 21% had last spa day was in the past week. 21% their last spa day was in the past year. And 14% their last spa day was in the past month.
I would just say, yeah, people tend to be either very, have it scheduled as just a regular part, or it becomes a very rare moment. Welcome to the modern world. It's hard to keep things going.
It's true.
But yeah, it's definitely time for a break.
Okay.
When we come back, we will talk about sort of what is a spa, how you make one, why we need them, and things around getting it to function the way we want it to and need to.
Mm-hmm. Well, now is a wonderful time to make sure you have something to drink. Maybe it's snack time. And yes, snackies. And so good luck. Beep, 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 beep.
I only know this as a reference to Scrooged. What are you doing?
It's a farting corgi.
Ah. That's not farting, Glory. That's like some bowel problems. I would keep away from that end.
Then you haven't had to listen to little children fart as much as I have. You're just grateful they're wearing diapers to catch it. I'm just saying. Or that political cartoon with Prince George, the Regency Prince,
Yeah.
Regent, farting ships. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yep.
Sharding ships? I don't know. Sharding the British Navy? Yeah, that sounds right. Spence says, I attempted a solid snack, discovered the chaos my husband left in the kitchen this morning, and had strawberry milk instead. Oh dear. Sounds like a job for him. Well, here we are back for the second hour.
Yep. I got a new poll.
Tom has a new poll?
Yeah.
Let's see what the new poll is. Best home spa location. Bathroom, living room, bedroom, garage.
Despite what some people might think, there's not actually necessarily a best one. It depends on the person. For you, I'll discuss this in just a moment.
Yeah, because personally, I like the living room. Let's see. So, yes, Tom sent me the next subject is spas, creating one, meditation, and pain perception. Megan says bathroom because it's easier to clean up afterwards. That's fair. And Spence says, we're both clicking things. Yep, that is tonight Noah's problem. Pizza Demon and I are probably having hot dogs for dinner. LOL. Delicious. I mean, hot dogs are a very patriotic thing to have.
And it turns out hot dogs and hot dog buns is an American creation.
I will never understand using a slice of bread. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm not here to yuck your yum. For me, no. Cannot do it. So, what do you want to talk about? Creating a spa, meditation, and pain perception?
So, first off, really, what is a spa? It is a separate location for self-care. And part of getting the effect of a spa, which is in part just the relaxation, the feeling of safety, is you're going to have to find ways to show and tell yourself that you're now in spa mode. You actually see this reference sometimes in movies about the rich, of, when they go to a spa, it's like, no, this is spa Kathleen. Or, I am now in spa mode. Of part of the health benefits are, just like meditation, it's that relaxation.
It's mental. That's part of the health benefits of spa is the mental part.
Yeah, it's the decompressing. It's the feeling of safety.
Oh, I love the spa music.
Yes.
I have strong opinions about spa music. I have strong opinions about what is spa music and what is annoying. And that is because I have been at spas for like 5 hours before and like listened to the same CD track again and again and again. It's like, I have opinions. Also, I will admit, I love the smell of spas. Like if I walk in a spa and there's a smell and it's not spa-like, I'm going to be ticked off. I don't want my spa to smell like a diner.
Yeah, no.
I want my spa, honestly, to smell like clean laundry and maybe some gentle aromatherapy. like eucalyptus or lavender, some lovely herbal scents, some herbal essential oil type smells.
Maybe a little melon.
Nothing too strong, though. Not like a strong, overpowering or cloying amount. Just like a gentle amount. But essentially, yes, I want my spa to smell like clean towels and maybe a teeny bit of essential oils or fresh plants. Oh, when I walk in and I can tell they've got so many plants that the air smells like it because there's so much oxygen in the air. Then I'm like, I am in a quality place. They're about to charge me through the nose. Totally worth it. So I love a spa, like a quality spa, where they have an obscene amount of potted plants. An obscene amount of healthy potted plants. Yes, bounce dryer sheets and violets, but not strong amount of violets. Not like old lady amounts of violets. Just like as if there's a couple potted violets.
But it's how do you tell yourself? Because the spa effect is part of it is mental. I mean, and you will get the benefits from it, but it's how do you create the mental? And I guess maybe just real quick before I go into the other parts, I was going to for that.
Oh, were you going to talk about tubular bells?
Well, yes, but I mean
the Angel's Kiss. But okay, so y'all know Tubular Bells from The Exorcist.
Is let's talk about how do you set the atmosphere of a spa.
And why does Tom know? Why does Tom know specifically how to establish a spa atmosphere, y'all? Because he has actual board certification.
Because I went to school for this. And I went at a very particular odd time for my school. And so the teachers went from, we need to teach to this curriculum to, all right, all the teachers were 20 plus year professionals who had been in this field. Mm-hmm. And we're like, here, we're not sure how well the school's going to do. We're not sure what we're going to finish, who's going to be here.
Yeah, they weren't sure the school would keep certification or anything. Like it was
a Mad Max situation at the time.
It was a wild time.
And they're like, all right, we're going to teach you what we always wished we'd known. So this may not be exactly the curriculum that the state says, but we'll feel more comfortable that you can run this on your own. You can become a professional and you can be successful. And so, some of it was us, how do you set up a spa? And it is, you have to do all the senses because you have to get this person, in this case, yourself, to do this in just minutes. You don't have hours to get someone into spa mode. You need them within minutes to be in spa mode so they can then take the effects you're trying to do. Massage does not work well if the person is not relaxed. Stretches, physical therapy, again, do not work as well if the person has not relaxed and is ready to be, physically manipulated, their joints and muscles in ways that they will relax. So how do you tell them within minutes that it's safe, it's comfortable, it's relaxing? And so, you need the sound. Sounds, YouTube has meditation channels that somewhat work, but like calm.com also works. Angel's Kiss, finding the sounds that relax you.
Yes, I did post a link. So you can listen to samples of each song.
Yep.
And just in case, so that if you want to just hear, well, what is it that to me, there is it is the best one album you could play again and again in a spot, and it really does have this lovely feel. You may disagree, and that's absolutely okay. If you do like it, though, yes, you can find a bunch of the songs from this album on YouTube and Spotify and other places to listen to.
Let me know, and I'll get it for you.
We've bought so many copies of the CD in our lifetime.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got this album set up.
I have personally purchased at least 3 different copies of the CD new in my 3, and Tom has purchased to relax 5 times
and fall asleep, and they are a little agitated. Put this on; it does really help most people.
Yes, and I think it's specifically the song "Angel's Kiss" that is oh God, that is that will just relax me. I've tried it on a bunch of other people who also found it helpful, but when you go, wait, this is from the same guy who wrote Tubular Bells for The Exorcist, like, I know, it's wild.
And there's a few other ones. Like there is, the scientifically most relaxing song ever written. And someone has made a 10-hour version of this.
Mm-hmm.
That does also help people relax and sleep. But it's, you need sound. So find the sounds that relax you. Some people like the sounds of rain and wind. Other people prefer the sounds of a fire crackling.
Mm-hmm.
Like essentially, it's do you want warm sounds or cool sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Some want nature. Others want city. It's what makes you feel relaxed. It's not what's supposed to be relaxing. It's what helps you feel relaxed.
At the very good quality spas that I've been to, one of the things I noticed is each room will have 3 different scents, and they've got a diffuser to diffuse that scent, and you pick among the 3. And the reason why they don't pick and choose in other rooms is for exactly the reason Spence brought up about lavender, where she was saying it's such a or Cherry, excuse me. Cherry brought up about hating the smell of lavender. Is that way if a client comes in and they can't stand that smell, they can then get them a different room immediately so that they don't smell the lingering scent of a triggering scent. And that's why they don't mix the scents room to room in the same day.
Because some people it's lavender, others it can be jasmine. What's the plant with the small white flowers?
The gardenias.
Gardenias.
Some people are straight up allergic to some of these scents. Like they are genuinely will break out in hives or welts within a couple minutes of being in a room with that essential oil. So that is why they, again, it's the room has 3 scent profiles and they don't mix them within the rooms because you can't have a relaxing experience if you're in the middle of an allergic reaction or even just you're triggered. So I thought that was really interesting. And I wanted to mention that just in case you go to a spa and they don't have policies like that, be very wary. Because it sounds like people are inadequately trained there, or there is inadequate policy, essentially uninformed policy going on. And also, the best spas are very happy for you to bring your own CD or your own thumb drive to play music. They're like, oh yeah, we'll hook up. If you
brought your iPod, you brought your phone.
I was about to say, back in the day, I bring my iPod with me. They were very happy to play the playlist I had made because they wanted me to feel so comfortable and relaxed. And again, that is how I inadvertently bought so many copies of Angels, because they're like, can I just pay you for your album? I love this. And that is...
And also, there's nothing wrong if what relaxes you is punk music or rock music.
Right.
It's...
Some is it that relaxes it really you? Is relaxing to hear their favorite, heavy metal. And that is absolutely okay and perfectly within your rights. If that is what relaxes you, that is absolutely what relaxes you, and you stick to your guns. If the sound you like is the sound of a thunderstorm, and it's a violent thunderstorm on a boat.
A hurricane.
Yes. That's your business. Enjoy.
But yeah, just what is it that works for you? And then, we already kind of talked about smell. We've talked about the smells. Light.
We talked about the sounds, and so light and touch.
Light is very important, not just brightness level, which is, and especially now that we have LED lights, it is a lot easier to dim by just simply putting some cloth covering over a lot of them because they're not going to get too hot.
She back.
Howdy.
I helped them.
Awesome.
I do like that at spas, it tends to be more diffused lighting. And it sort of helps my brain, signals to my brain, hey, we're in a calm, relaxing environment. This is not a usual environment or an environment where work is done.
But
And
also
then
this
they
is
turn the
where
lights back on a little bit when they leave, so you can get dressed again. It's like, dang it, no.
Yes.
But also this is where color of light
Yeah, when they
comes
talk
in.
about vibe, people are actually often referring to the vibe of color. You know, of like it, oh, I was vibing. They often color influences that vibe perception.
And for many it's blue, but sometimes it's green to give again that nature feel. Versus blue is definitely nice for the the water sounds, versus oranges to light reds for more of the fire and warm sounds. Of again, you kind of want them all to match. Um, Also, real quick, the talk about the danger in the room. Um,
Falling asleep in the tub.
Candles.
Why are you coming for me?
We've had such improvements in LED technology. Separate your smells. Get the diffusers that have the smells, and for light, just get LED candles. Like
They really do. They have come so far in adopting that flicker and that light diffusement that a candle gives, while using instead an LED candle where it looks like a candle, and like a candle that's burnt down a little bit, and then that light diffusement. It's so much safer. You would not believe the amount of disasters that have and do occur using real candles.
the only reason, as a massage therapist, I was ever comfortable using candles is because I'm in the room while the candle's burning and I am not relaxing. I'm helping someone else relax. They can rely on my perception. But as someone on their own, candles are definitely a background thing. Sometimes people don't realize they keep them from relaxing, but go invest in some, LED candles. Helps everyone feel better. But yeah, be aware of the lighting. It helps a lot. And then lastly, touch. This is where you need to treat yourself. Get some of those comfy blankets, those comfy sheets.
Those really cuddly robes.
Yes.
Or socks.
Yes, invest in them. It's worth the investment.
Those asshole cats. Again,
You just
don't tempt the demons.
Do you know how many? Well, that scorch mark on the ground in my apartment is because Fluffy was messing with the flame again.
Oh, and especially, I was even listening to a video. A guy who does backpacking and outdoor hiking was talking about, like, what's the secret to good sleep while you are out in the woods? And he's like, okay, so I thought it was this, and I eventually did find, like, the best sleeping pad to use. And he's like, don't get a sleeping bag, just get quilts. It'll help you a lot better stay comfy. And he's like, but I still wasn't sleeping great. What I eventually realized is it is the pillow. At the end of the day, it comes down to the pillow and how your head rests. Find the pillow that you can relax into. Whether that's one that has a whole lot of back neck support to lift your head up, or one that doesn't do much at all. Check on the pillows to make sure you've got one.
Pancake pillow.
Yep. Because all of these senses are very important to letting you know very quickly you can relax, and to get the most out of the spa treatment, and to decompress.
By the way, we're both clicking things. Tom,
Yeah, sorry.
You can get sounds of a cruise ship, like the engine, on YouTube, like 10 hours, 24 hours of a cruise ship engine. And you can play it rather loud while you sleep. You could definitely give that a try. if you know that there are certain sounds, and yes, of course, there's also videos people posted to YouTube and to Spotify of 10 and 24 hours of various enterprise engine sounds. If that's what you want to sleep to, or other spaceship sounds and so on, or airplane sounds, whatever
Although
you
if it
have
is,
found
although if
something
it
that
is engine sounds you desire, make sure you're using a decent speaker system, because they are going to be the lower frequencies, and so you tend to need a woofer to actually get the effect.
So everybody was like, white noise. I didn't like white noise. So then I tried pink noise, and that was better. And then I discovered brown noise. I was like, yes.
hopefully everybody finds, if you look enough, you find what speaks to you, what works for you sound wise. I very much enjoy the sounds of an airplane, the engine sound. And thankfully, people have actually recorded that and then made them into videos, which is wonderful. There's a video of someone driving a car around in the rain, and the POV is that you are in the passenger seat. Yes. Again, what helps you feel relaxed and safe? And you don't have to work for it like you used to, where you'd have to go out and make the recording yourself. Oh, so long ago, back in the day. Back in the previous century. Did I hurt you? But really, it's worth it to spend a little time looking for the sounds that make you feel relaxed and safe. For me, it is the Angel's Kiss album. Nothing gives me a sense of safety and self-care like the Angel's Kiss album, which we found originally that was when I was 14. We bought it when we came down here for that trip. Grandma Marty had rented that condo for us. Yeah. Because it was the only store we knew where to buy it for 30 years. For a long time. It was the only place we could find. We couldn't even buy it online. Even when you started buying albums online, you couldn't even buy it online for the longest time. Now you can. But that's actually how I ended up buying so many copies for $8.99 plus tax. Yes, I know exactly how much it costs. In the last millennium. Oh. Stabby in my heart. So do a little research, figure it out, make a lot of copies, have that available when you're having your spa time. Because in part, you're changing your brain waves, you're changing your brain functions to be in safe relaxation mode. And that's the actual and most important part. Yes, it is important to feel cared for. It is absolutely important to actually take care of your skin, and even to get massages for the benefit of your neurology and your muscles and your skin. Yes, all of these things are valid and important. But the most important part is the part where you change your thinking to be in this self-care, sort of meditative but awake state of spa. That's the most important part.
And that is where both having a comfy robe that keeps you at the right body temperature, but also if you're going to, say, be using a recliner, or a table or a couch, also consider getting a warming blanket to keep you at the right temperature in this. And all right, here's one of those, I don't know another way to say it, but pro tip for the new millennium. So for those of us who like to relax in the bathtub, we're like, but I want to stay in the bathtub.
Over an hour? Yes.
Yeah. We have a way to handle this. You ready?
What you got?
Drain half of it and fill it back up with the super hot water halfway through.
No, that's the old millennium way. Yeah, here's the one you haven't thought about, and you're like, okay, maybe I do need to invest one. Go get a sous vide. Go get a little, immersion water circulator. Set it to the temp you want. It'll keep it.
Cook myself.
Because they will go down to 95 degrees. You can just set to whatever temp you want. And so there you can actually stay relaxed.
Except it's stupid here, and we don't have outlets in the bathroom.
You don't have GFCI outlets?
I don't know what that is.
It's a outlet that has its own little resetting circuit breaker built into it.
Oh, I don't think we have any outlets in the bathroom.
That's what an extension cord's for.
I don't know that is necessarily safe, Tom.
Actually, with these, it is. They're fine. They don't even use as much electricity as you're going to think. Especially if you set it to like 90, 95 degrees. But yeah, get a sous vide. Because yeah, if you want to relax in the bathtub, it's usually for more than 15, 20 minutes.
Well, the old way to do it is to use those heated stones.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid I'm gonna touch it.
Oh no, it's not that hot. That's why you see those cylinders around the outside. That metal cylinder is not heated.
Mm-hmm.
That's just to bring the water through and circulate it. You can't touch the heating element. And as I said again, if you keep it at 90, 95 degrees, that's the temperature the element will stay at. So again, it's not anything that can hurt you. And they are meant for prolonged hour-long usage. As far as robes go, ask people. Go look around. Find the brands you trust. I mean, I do like, hotel, look up hotel robe on Google, and you'll find the thicker ones.
I have to touch them to know. Also, not all robes fit me, so I have to go. But do you keep your eye out? Do you prioritize that? When you find the right robe, if you find it at a hotel or at a spa, and you're like, this is the most perfect robe in the world, how much? I need to buy this. And just buy it off of them. This particular robe fits and it's right, just buy it off of them. $100. I'll take it. It's worth it to just get the right robe.
And so that comes back to the meditation. Is once you set the mood for your brain to understand it is time to relax, you will be actually in a semi-meditative state. You'll be relaxed. And part of the reason for needing that is pain perception. The more on edge you are, the more you feel you need to be aware of your environment, the more your body will let you know about pain. The more it feels relaxed, the less pain you will literally feel, because pain is for the most part actually in your head. It is actually a sense that your body interprets and your brain tells you. And so you need to tell your brain it can chill. You don't need to know as much. And your pain, in your general pain sense, will go down. And then those pain chemicals will actually reduce in your body for a while, again, helping you get that spa experience, relax, and actually gain a little bit of health. And that's part of why we talk about the relaxation, is because the more you relax, the less pain you feel, the better everything else works.
Yeah, because you're really trying to remove the excess static in your neurological system. Your neurological system is not that different from fiber optics in that there's constantly signals being sent through it to everywhere. Because there's constant pinging to make sure that the messages are received. So, but static can build up, particularly during stressful times, or any time where the neurology is disrupted. So, if you didn't have a good night's sleep, oh yeah, there's a bunch of static in the system. And so, if you have then a spa time, a meditative time, you are calming and clearing out a lot of the static so that the signals your brain is receiving are truer and more pure, correct, the correct interpretation. So that's in part why it's so important to have regular spa time. Is it easy as a neurodivergent person, as somebody with ADHD, to remember to do it, to then do it, and remember to do all the parts, like the sounds and the smells and the lights? Of course not. We have ADHD.
It's why you write down a list of the things you want to do in the order, and you slowly work on always doing it in that order so you'll remember it as a sequence.
But it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be that you're trying. Does that mean, and yes, by the way, I do have a flannel robe that we think my mother left me. It just showed up at my house one day many years ago. And no one would own up to it. And Mom, I guess, forgot that she had left it there. And she's like, that's the kind of thing I would have bought for you, but I don't remember buying it because everybody in my family has ADHD. But I have a green flannel robe. Do I just sometimes sit around in it? Looking a little insane? Yes. Does it feel all snuggly and cuddly and right? Absolutely.
Doing your Arthur Dent?
I really do look like Arthur Dent, like just waiting for the Vogons to show up. But, it's called my writer robe. Because I'll just sit around drinking coffee and walk around in that robe all day. And I'm just so comfy because I feel so safe in it. I feel so comfy in this robe.
So, do you guys know Lindsay Puckett? She sold her middle grade book to Scholastic.
I've heard of her, yeah.
She's amazing. So one of the things she spent her advance on was one of those femme fatale bathrobes with the fur along the sleeve edgings, like with boas. And she was just lounging in it. Like, it was so beautiful. It's like, maybe I should get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just such a fun splurge is just a robe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. At least get a flannel robe. They are so soft and comfy and washable. Yes,
Okay.
the I'm crazy but I'm free mood. Yeah.
Here, real quick, another weird lesson from the rich that they actually do have right. There's a lot of things the rich do not have right. But this one has been proven out by psychiatrists, psychologists, a lot of study, is what you spend money on quality is, number one, actually experiences. Vacations are a lot more important than a lot of your regular stuff to spend the money on to get that vacation experience you want, or that spa experience if that's your vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, the next one is the stuff you use regularly. So, as we've talked about, Gloria's got a big screen TV in her room for us to watch, so that no one needs to squint or anything. We've got essentially a theater experience.
We could turn off all the lights in my room, and Tom will sit in the very nice computer chair we invested in for him. Like, it has a recline mode, y'all, and it actually has like a little pop-up ottoman. Okay, it is a really nice computer chair. And he'll sit in the computer chair, and I'll sit on the bed, and we'll turn off all the lights, unlike at a theater where they never turn off all the lights. We'll turn off all the lights, and we will sit in abject darkness and
like say abject terror.
and watch the movie and be like, but I can also pause it anytime. So it is better than a theater.
But it's a good quality. Also, it's a good quality TV.
It's
and
a
we've
really
taken the
good
time
quality.
to set the colors to the way we like it. We like the sound quality on it.
Yes.
But you spend it on the stuff you experience regularly. We saved up, years ago. We got a Roku. It worked all right, but we saved up and we got the more expensive Roku because the original one was too slow. It was aggravating to use. Glory was losing it. So yeah, we bought the more expensive one because it was faster, more responsive. Everything worked a bit quicker. Made us happier. Same thing for computers. And the clothes, but it also goes for the clothes you wear on a regular basis. So yeah, splurge on that robe. Splurge on those comfy clothes when you need to relax, as well as splurge on those clothes that make you feel confident when you go out in public.
What I learned from the wealthy was they spent a surprising amount of money on their lounge clothes. These were clothes that were not intended to ever be seen at a party necessarily. They were just for themselves. They were the softest, most sumptuous cottons and silks, and they were the finest jersey knits, and no tags anywhere. They were so comfy and they fit just right.
I came so close several times to petting, your uncle-in-law because that jersey muumuu looked so comfy.
Yeah. Okay. So Ike, y'all remember Ike? Ike slept in muumuus. Well, actually, I think Ike mostly slept nude. But when he would leave his bedroom, he always wore a muumuu, like an old lady muumuu, with ruffles and everything.
Oh yeah, there's ruffles.
Oh, lots of flounces. But it was it moved. Oh, so it had you could just tell it moved with him. It was so comfy. And that is what he wore because he preferred to be nude. But if he can't be nude, he's going to wear a muumuu. And he did not care that it was feminine. He had no problem with it. But he would look for the most silkiest, softest to touch muumuus, and that is what he wore around the house in the mornings before he got ready for work. If he was working at all that day, not on the weekends. So as I said, these weekends where it would be a weekend long party and everybody would be sleeping over.
So all the kids would have to warn their friends.
Oh yeah,
not be surprised by
all the adult children who would bring friends over, and they're all staying in all the guest rooms and everything, would have to warn Ike wears a muumuu.
Like a cool grandma muumuu.
Like a grandma muumuu. You're just grateful it's below the knee. Because he's got nothing on underneath it, y'all. Nothing. So you're just grateful it's not see-through either. So... But everybody would be warned about the muumuu. And then, he would just, on these weekend parties, he would wear the muumuu in the morning when he would go make breakfast for everybody. Because he's making breakfast for 20 to 40 people. He's like, I'm going to be comfy while I'm scrambling, 3 dozen eggs. So that is what, and, he'd be frying 4 pounds of bacon, 3 dozen eggs, 2 loaves of bread, toast, and so on. He's making enough. And they had an enormous kitchen, which was fantastic. And so, he's wearing a muumuu when he's doing it because he wanted to be comfy, but he looked so comfy. He looked so comfy that several other men started wearing muumuus too. By hey, Ike, can I try on your muumuu for the weekend? He's like, absolutely, but you cannot take it home. So other people are wearing his other muumuus because he had 2 dozen muumuus. All the men, by the end of the weekend, all the men are in muumuus. Just walking around on Sunday morning in their muumuus to eat breakfast before they all get ready for church. Because he's like, look, this is my me time. I am hosting a party, but this is my time. So why should I not be as comfy as I possibly can? Why should I try to look good for no one? I should be absolutely comfy in what I am wearing when I am here for myself. So there he is in padded slippers and muumuus. And, he encouraged everyone else to wear whatever they're comfy in. And I remember one guest one time, she was like, well, I'm most comfy in a bikini. And he's like, then, ma'am, you should definitely go up there, put your bikini on, and come down and have breakfast if you're not going to be too cold. And she's like, oh, no, I'm never cold. And she just walked around in bikinis every time she came to the house. Because she was like, that is honestly what I am most comfortable in is bikinis. I.e., that was her closest to nudity thing. But I mean, there's a certain point in that of absolutely when you are in your time, you're not having to perform like you would for work or employment or, more formal social obligations. You should absolutely be as comfortable as possible.
Donald Duck pajama pants.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Old work shirt that I got too big on purpose.
Yes, because I love Henleys. These button-down type. They're very comfortable on me, and I think I look okay in it because I can play with the neckline. But they never, since Henleys also have this larger sleeve opening here, also I never feel like a pull. So my favorite lounge outerwear is a Henley, and you see I have it in a bunch of colors. And then I like a camisole with a bra in the camisole. That is my favorite undershirt. And it's got adjustable, you can almost see it. It's got adjustable straps. So I can adjust it to me.
Yes, Everett, come to the way of the caftan.
Yes.
Don't listen to any BS from kids and teenagers. There is no cultural appropriation with caftan. Caftan is universal. Anyone can wear them.
Yes, they're caftans that, started all over the world, and they started primarily for men. So, absolutely wear the caftans.
Jerry's like tank top and shorts, no matter the season.
Flip-flops.
Exactly, but it's truly, I feel comfortable. All right, we're getting close to end time, so real quick, let me tackle this little part. Mm-hmm. Sort of finishing up with the spa experience. And these are going to go in a little direction you may not be expecting, which is, food, things to help you relax. In this case, things you ingest, whether it's food, alcohol, or medications. And here's what I have to say about these. Use any one that works for you. Make yourself some chocolate chip cookies. Again, this is about relaxing and enjoying yourself. Or if you're the kind that likes tea sandwiches, have those. Have the foods that you relax and enjoy and you don't have to think about.
Egg salad sandwiches.
Yes. Alcohol and medication. So here is the two sides of it. Honestly, if it helps you relax, good. But if you're going somewhere else to do this, they may have some policies against it. And some of that is because you have to be able to give consent legally. And if you are drunk, you cannot consent. If you are under the influence of something, you cannot consent. So, but if you're at home and planning to do this, you can consent in advance and just be relaxed afterwards. Have some champagne. Have, some beers, some White Claw, your favorite margarita.
Do you know how many doctors have actually prescribed wine to me? 8. 8 different MDs have you should have a glass of wine at night, like at sunset or something. And I'm like, just no, I'm prescribing it. You need to have red wine for my heart. No, you just need to relax. You need to drink more wine or beer, just something. But they don't want to prescribe drugs to me. They're just like, no, you need to drink more.
Yeah.
What about a cocktail? Is a cocktail okay? I like cocktails. Absolutely, have a margarita, whatever you want. Have a cocktail. You need to relax because of what long-term stress does to the body. It changes the chemicals, changes the hormones, it changes the chemicals in your brain, it changes the chemicals in your body. And versus if you relax, if you just let it out. And if you need to have a cocktail to kind of signal to yourself to just absolutely relax and let it out, so be it, because a little bit of alcohol versus the effects of relaxation are worth the effort. They're worth the trouble.
Also, if you are on medications to either relax your muscles or anti-anxieties to help you mentally relax, not necessarily mix them with alcohol unless you know how you react and how you are with them, but definitely make sure you are taking those as prescribed before you get a spa treatment. Because otherwise, you've actually made it harder for them to help your body relax, let alone manipulate it and get those muscles to relax and those joints to relax and reposition. Make sure you're keeping up on your meds to help this, because if anything, it makes the therapist's job a bit easier. If your doctor's prescribed muscle relaxers, take them. And then the therapist is just having to relax it that extra bit instead of having to get through a lot of tightness. But make sure you let them know, because like if you have drunk alcohol or if you've taken relaxers, your therapist needs to know as well, so they know that maybe your pain perception might be reduced, and so they are not accidentally doing too much. It can be beneficial, but it can also be detrimental. You need to talk with anyone who might be doing any treatments on you.
If you're at a spa and they've offered you champagne or mimosas, I promise you they're literally counting, and they're keeping track for each other of how many glasses of champagne you've had.
And that is why they actually measured your body weight when you got there. And so they literally can calculate your BAC.
You can just literally put that into these calculators, and it will tell you. And because they need to know how much alcohol is in your system, so that they are aware of whether your pain perception has been dulled or not. But I promise you, if you're at a spa and they have served you champagne, they have kept track of also how many glasses of champagne you've had and over how much time you've had them. Yes. There's somewhere, they may not tell you, they may not even admit it, but somewhere in some office, there is a little monitor that's keeping track of every time they've poured you another glass of champagne every so many hour or two. They're keeping track because they want you to have a good time, but they don't want to accidentally hurt you. Like if you can't tell them something hurts, they could overextend you. And that's what kind of defeats the whole purpose. But yes, I in fact actually love to drink at spas because again, there is somebody there monitoring for me, so I could just have a good time. It does not. It's like, yeah, no, let's get another glass of champagne. Hell, let's get a bottle.
Yeah, I did want to mention that as sort of the end part of discussing spas.
But if you're at home and you're just doing having a little spa day, wearing your little fluffy robe and listening to your lovely music and your mood lighting and doing facial masks or something, open up that glass of or that bottle of sparkling wine. Have a good time. You're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
Or take that muscle relaxer and just be totally relaxed. Absolutely.
So we finished the poll.
Mm-hmm.
72% going for the bathroom.
Best home spa location. 77% say bathroom. 22% say living room. And nobody says bedroom or garage.
Now, some of you may wonder, why in the world did I say garage? And there's two reasons. One, in some homes, in some locations that are more temperate, a garage actually has a comfy temperature. But it's about telling your mind that you're going into spa mode, and it can often help be a new location or a different location. Like the living room is difficult for a lot of people because they've got all these other thoughts associated with living room, as well as people may walk in and all that. And so they can't relax the same way. But garage, you can set up as a spa location, and it's very different. And so you don't have those preconceived thoughts associated with it. And so it can actually be a good way to signal, I am now in spa mode.
Or the
And
sheet
that's why I brought
bed
it.
or whatever.
You know, versus your bedroom as well. You can set up for a spa, and it's about changing the entire look of the place. Changing the blanket on top of your bed, changing the lighting, changing the smells, changing all of it so it does become more of a different locale for you. And that's why I brought those up, because I wanted to bring that up. All right, we ready for a break?
Yep. Now's a wonderful time to make sure you get something to drink, maybe a snacky, maybe whatever you need. And when we come back, we'll talk about, I don't know, what are we going to talk about?
When we come back, we're going to talk about what people thought we were going to talk about from the beginning. Skin treatments, stretches, massage and drainage, electrical equipment, and post-spa treats.
Okay.
You know, water plus.
Ote.
So much water.
Bibbidi-bee. Bibbidi-bee, bibbidi-bee, bibbidi-bee. Bibbidi-bee.
Why, hello?
Well, hello there. Did everybody have a lovely, relaxing sprint?
So lovely. I wrote stuff down.
Ooh. I just played on Instagram. I just want to
Dying pen.
Oh,
And we used all the ink.
So, Laura, what you got to say?
Okay, so I'm gonna go and make dinner and walk away. But before that, here are some of my thingamabobs. On YouTube, there are such things as like 3 hours of thunderstorm with black screen. So you don't have to have the light even though you can't lock your phone if you don't have YouTube Premium. There are versions with black screens, so you can fall asleep to that or use that without blaring light. Invest in a good chair for wherever you sit.
Agreed.
I screwed up my back and my hips with my gamer chair, and my parents came up and bought me this, and within a couple days, like, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Awesome.
I could walk again. It was so nice. So invest in a chair for wherever you sit the most so that it prevents all this catastrophic cascade. Find a good dessert recipe that you can eat, that you love, to use as a reward sometimes. For me, that's peach crisp. So fairly simple. You just need canned peaches, some oats, brown sugar, vanilla, like spices that you want, like nutmeg and cinnamon. But yeah, like throw it in the thing and put it in the oven and voila. And slab ice cream on it because, you know, you have to.
Have to.
Reward your word counts or achievements. Make, like, some of my rewards for my camp goals are spa day-esque. Like, I get to invest in more bath bombs, or I get to have a Disney night where I put on my mini ears and I eat Toblerone cheesecake and I watch the fireworks show on my TV and cry because it's so good. The happily ever after one, so good. Things like that. Other rewards that I do that feel like self-care time are technically family time, but I live alone, so I count it. So FaceTime tea parties. Put on your fancy hat, FaceTime your siblings and your nieces and nephews, and have PB&J sandwiches with chocolate milk, or whatever you want for your tea party. I have super fancy scones frozen in my freezer, ready to be cooked. And so, like, whatever your level of tea party is, just put on a fancy hat and, like, sort out M&Ms. Like, have your tea party. It'll be great. Have a game night. Play Exploding Kittens or D&D or whatever with some people, just to get out of your head and out of just you and your apartment in your mind, and, like, relax that way. It can be great fun. I love bath bombs. Those help me relax. If you can't fit in a bath or don't have a bath, shower melts can be fun. And also one hack is I have Bulk Barn near me, and so they carry Epsom salts in bulk. You literally take a shovel scoop and you just scoop all the Epsom salts you want into those bags, and you buy Epsom salt by the bulk. And then you put all the oils that you want on it and mix your own, and it's much cheaper than buying the bags of pre-scented Epsom salts. So those can be great fun and cheaper if you have access to bulk Epsom salts.
Honestly, even non-bulk Epsom salts are not that expensive if you're buying them, like, at the grocery store or somewhere. It's like, you're talking like $2 for a liter, a quart of
more
Epsom
expensive
salt.
here. Oh no!
It is so expensive.
Well, it's been a while since going shopped. It's actually more like $3.50 now to $4 for, 32 ounces. for a kilo to a kilo and a half.
Yeah. So
those are my tips for self-care.
yes, they're good.
Do
tips.
it.
Do it. Give it a try.
Schedule it in if you need to.
Make it part of your reward system. Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally my rewards are a bowl of ice cream, peach crisp, bath bombs, and my Disney night. Yeah, those were my 4 rewards for camp goals. So
nice.
It doesn't have to be extravagantly expensive.
No.
Like the Disney night, I already had the cheesecake in my freezer, so technically it was free.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be extravagant. I mean, like, there's a lot of skincare stuff you can do for your own spa day. That
Honey and sugar.
Honey and oatmeal. And there you have a facial scrub.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, don't worry. The stuff you already probably have. And, like, it doesn't have to be extravagant or anything to take care of yourself. It's just sometimes it's hard to, though, when it's like, but it's just me and I'm not accountable to anybody.
So that's my tips. And I'm
Very
going
good.
to go and walk a puppy and see what he finds to eat on the road. Lately, it's been chicken bones every time.
I'm telling you, at this point, it's a superpower. Like, he's just...
I know.
You
I've had to wrinkle so many chicken bones out of his mouth.
Oh,
it's
no.
ridiculous.
I have nothing in my mouth. Don't take it.
Nothing.
She'll never find it in my special pocket.
Yep.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. I will see you all later.
Okay.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
All right, Tom. Here we are. In the last hour. What you
Back
got?
again.
Let's see. Tom sent me messages. What was it?
I'll just put them up. Just
skin treatment, masks, scrubs, balms, rubs, and oils. Tom would like a special service announcement to remind everybody to never use salt scrubs, or sugar scrubs on your face if you value your face. You can use them on the rest of your body, fine, but carefully.
Yeah.
But never on your face if that is the face you wish to keep.
The way to think of them is, it's just, it's like sandpaper grit. You can make scrubs at home, with just a few things you have around the house. A scrub is mostly just a crystal and an oil. So, so getting and cooking oils are perfectly safe on the outside of the body. That's why they're safe on the inside of the body. But like, the different grits of salt, just like are always going to be harsher than sugar. Sugar is definitely for the softer areas. So like sugar scrubs are good for your décolletage, your hands, your feet.
You can use a little bit of salt scrub on the bottoms of your feet.
You can, but just the softer areas, more sensitive areas of your body, use a sugar scrub. For this tougher skin, especially like, your forearms, your legs. Some people, it just depends on if your belly is a soft or a tough area. Choose appropriately, but it is a way to exfoliate the skin and also at the same time rehydrate it with oils. Oils are actually more of what give you that hydrating, healthy skin effect, not water. Water often actually, I know. I could go over the science later, but water tends to actually dehydrate your skin. It makes it drier to actually put water on it. You want to use oils wherever you feel your skin is dry. So Yes, on your face, in your T-zone, if you're one of those people who has a lot of dry skin, actually getting a light oil like grapeseed oil to just rub on your T-zone or your cheeks.
Grapeseed oil is it has
Is
acidic,
acidic. Yeah,
and
you're
that's
right.
why it helps versus more neutral oils, such as canola oil and I believe peanut oil. I'm trying to remember the pH of oils, and y'all,
Yeah, and
it's been over a
it's been a
decade,
while.
so please don't quote me on it. Just look it up
Go look it up.
If the pH of your oils matter to you, please look it up. Please do not go. Well, Glory said, y'all, I have slept since I read this 10 years ago.
But for your face, like jojoba, grapeseed.
Oh, they're wonderful.
The ones that are good for your hair are also actually good
Avocado
for your face.
oil
Are good for your face.
if your skin is more prone to oiliness, then avocado oil, which is a slightly thicker viscosity, can be very helpful for lifting the dirt out of your skin. We're going to take the JK.
Charlie.
But so if you have dry skin, also avocado oil can be useful. Because again, that avocado oil can help with the dryness by really keeping that dry skin hydrated long enough for it to flake off, for it to be removed. So, but if you have not oily, not dry skin, a jojoba is wonderful. Grapeseed can be useful if you get flaky, dry skin on your forehead or your chin.
But yeah, without any material in it. For your face, you want to use just a very small amount of oil. And you want to, if you do need to use a cleanser on your face, like if you are out where there's a lot of wind, or just in dusty or dirty areas and you need to clean off your face, make sure to use very soft, mild cleansers. Whenever you start seeing your face...
Things for babies.
Yes, things for babies. Because soaps do not actually make your face or your skin happier. If you are seeing it get irritated or red or developing blemishes, as we said, that is often actually more of a health issue and a nutrient need than it is, just, the outside environment is making me react, unless like you're in an outside environment with, glass insulation or, other actual irritants to your skin. Unless you're in one of those situations, it is not the outside world making your face develop blemishes. And so
often,
be nice to your skin.
If I need to exfoliate my face, what I use is rolled oats.
Yes.
Rolled oats with oil, like whatever cooking oil, not olive oil, because I tend to only have extra virgin olive oil in the house, and I don't want to smell like olive oil. So I'll use canola oil. That's often what I have, or sunflower seed oil, and rolled oats in a bowl. And then I just literally rub that. And then I use a cream cleanser to remove any excess oil, as well as, just in general, just as the final and add a thin layer of oil, like jojoba oil, to my face. And I go to sleep after that. That is what I do if I really feel like I don't want people to see my dry skin.
Although that also does remind me.
I'm also prone to psoriasis and eczema all over, including my face. So there are times where I feel self-conscious, and that is where I use rolled oats. And I use rolled oats specifically because oats have an anti-inflammatory quality, as well as the rolled oats actually physically help without scratching the skin.
They actually have medical oats that have been very extra finely ground for usage as well, to give you an idea of it doesn't really help.
Because there is an issue with, so it turns out, if you use other materials, such as, remember when beads, when everybody was into the bead thing, Turned out that was real bad. Or what was it? Crushed walnuts shells. Oh god.
Mhm.
Because it would leave minute scratches in the skin, but the skin didn't know to heal it. So you're just walking around with scratched up skin that's exposed to the elements, and so you're more prone to infection. Super bad if you have a face that you care about keeping, you know? So
But you speaking of your dry skin did remind me, if you have dry skin, especially on your face, and just like, why is my skin always so? It may also be your pillowcases. Cotton absorbs oil.
Cotton is so thirsty.
So if you want to make sure your face stays hydrated, and you put a little bit of oil or lotion late at night on your face, also consider getting some satin pillowcases, which will not absorb any of the oil, and make sure it stays on your face and gets absorbed into your skin. And they really don't cost much. Just throw them in the wash with everything else. But cotton does,
Don't dry them.
natural fibers absorb oil. So same thing as well as your hair. If you're like, why is my hair always so dry? I use good conditioners on it. It may be your pillowcases.
Your pillowcases are thirsty.
Yes, so thirsty, so hungry for all those oils.
What also impressed me about the wealthy was their obsession with wrinkled bed sheets. They were absolutely obsessed with no wrinkles on your sheets and no wrinkles on your pillowcases. However, even the doctors were like, yeah, if you're sleeping on an old wrinkly pillowcase, it will make creases in your skin while you sleep. And the more times your skin is creased there, the more you're building a wrinkle. So again, I used to think this was so, like, they're so afraid of wrinkles, but no, it's again, there's a certain truth there, but it's kind of an odd one. So they were very much obsessed with like all the sheets and pillowcases being ironed all the time. And then when I like introduced them to satin pillowcases, because I could never keep the satin hair bonnet on, it would always come off while I slept because I'm a very active sleeper.
Same.
And so I was like, well, let me try satin pillowcase, because I had read that Prince, may he rest in power, that Prince always provided satin pillowcases, especially for any women who stayed the night. I had read that years ago, like in the 90s. And this is how you know that Prince is like such a lover. Like this was like, it was a very strange article in Essence magazine. And I was like, satin pillowcases for quality ladies. And so I got one, thinking, since they had recommended, you get satin bonnets for curly hair. And then the bonnets, I tried 3 different brands and they all kept coming off while I was sleeping. And so I was like, well, Prince, used to provide satin pillowcases. Let me try this. And then I found like it gave me the same benefit without having to wear the bonnet. And the people noticed that I would always bring my pillow with the satin pillowcase on it with me when I would stay for the weekend at their houses. They're like, why do you do that? I'm like, it's really good for your hair and skin. And they're like, so suddenly, like, everybody's got satin pillowcases there. And they're like, what's even better is it never wrinkles. It's great. And it's like, it's true. It does not wrinkle. It does not build up wrinkles. And it is very nice on the hair and the skin. It does not dry out your skin. Yes. Truly a genius. So, yes, thanks, Prince, for that very weird article in Essence in the 90s about how such a lover that he provides satin pillowcases for all the ladies who stay the night. And I was like, well, if it's good enough for Prince, it's good enough for Gloria to try it out.
And, and lastly, let's talk about Gloria's Saturday show, the regular weekly self-care. And the masks, especially the Korean facial masks, that are cloth masks that are paper masks that are embedded with serums, and how they are truly no fuss. But everyone who attends your regular self-care Saturday has all commented that no, their face does actually feel a bit different.
Yeah, the basic idea behind these Korean face masks are you're taking serum, they're all imbued with serum, and it's keeping the serum on the surface of your skin. It's keeping it from drying out for 20 minutes. So if you put serum on your skin normally, it's going to dry out in like, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. So the idea is that the serum is staying, and hydrating, it's staying active for so much longer. And that's why, the mask, why it's this like little facial mask.
And Gloria, and we get these on Amazon, and they end up being like $1 or 50 cents each. Like, they're really not expensive. And all of y'all are only doing these once a week. And yet, you still notice for a full week plus this effect. So, I mean, they do work, and it really doesn't cost much, doesn't take that much time, but it is a nice way to show yourself you're taking care of yourself. I mean, Megan now makes sure to show up for Saturdays as part of because it's part of her healthcare. It's part of her self-care.
Mm-hmm.
She feels better. She's happier. Her skin looks better.
We also do writing sprints as well, in case, or productivity sprints, or, staring at the ceiling sprints where you don't have to do anything because it's self-care. It's whatever you want it to be, but we take breaks essentially every hour.
Yes.
And we hang out. It's just like we all got together in someone's living room, except we live all over the continent.
So next, sort of getting into self-care and into the more physical, taking care and maintaining your body. People always remarked when I was doing massage therapy on them, how much more effective I was than a lot of others they'd been to. And I attribute part of that to the before really massaging and even really warming up the muscles that much, we did stretches. We made sure to get these muscles sort of ready to be worked on. But also stretches just help with your body's normal ergonomics. They help make sure all the muscles are functioning the way they need to. I completely forgot to get a link for these guys, so let me pull it up real quick. But like I came across very recently from these two physical therapists on YouTube. Like a very simple, what's it, Bob and Brad. A very simple little exercise stretch to do to help with lower back. We all now have lower back problems for the most part, and a lot of it actually comes from we're always seated. And your lower back is got two sets of muscles to, move you forward and move you back. Essentially, although really it's more of curving your body or straightening it. And it is your psoas muscle, which goes on the back of, actually goes through your pelvic bone and attaches to your femur. And the opposite is your glute max, the big butt muscle. Well, if you're always seated, that psoas muscle stays shortened. And it connects at your lower back. And that is why when you stand up, your lower back may hurt. But also, since the last decade plus, where we've had this increased interest in big butts, a way to make your butt look bigger without being genetically gifted or having surgery is to rotate your hips back so that your butt looks big. Well, again, this shortens your psoas muscle, and it means it tightens up, and you get lower back. And so the exercise, the stretch for it's really simple, very effective. If you just do this once a day for a couple times, it works great. And all you do is find somewhere to lay down like you're going to do a sit-up or a crunch, with your knees up and, your back on the ground. And just lift your hips, lift your pelvis. Straighten your back between your shoulders and your knees. And this will tighten your glutes. And when your glutes tighten, it makes your psoas muscle have to relax. Like it's actually a signal your body will send to this muscle to relax. And this is actually a good way to really help with a lot of lower back pains for a lot of people, to get this muscle relaxed that otherwise doesn't really stretch. Because when you stand up, again, you're not actually stretching that muscle much. But when you sit forward, it shortens a lot. So it's hard to stretch this muscle. It's hard to get its full range of motion much.
Yes, you need to do the time warp, do the pelvic thrust.
Yes.
That drives you insane. Yay.
Yep.
Do the time warp. If for whatever reason there's no clean place to lay down on the floor, or you don't want to lay down on the floor because when will you get back up, or whatever, because you might fall asleep, then just do the time warp dance.
Mm-hmm.
But do all of the time warp dance. It's good for your back.
It really does help.
Remember, for your health, let's do the time warp.
And the same goes for just doing the neck stretches. And after, you've got it all the way leaned over, breathe in and breathe out and relax. And since that muscle's, stretched, your body will try to relax it more because you notice it's tight. And again, it's a good way. Same for interlock your fingers, push them away, and then raise up. No. Move it, push forward, and then rotate it up. And you will feel your back muscles.
I feel it in my right hand. I feel it right here.
Yeah. It gets a bunch of these that also tend to stay tightened a lot. And so just maybe even recline back a little bit. Feel those in your traps.
I'm still mostly feeling it in my middle finger. I feel like it's a sign that I'm not flipping off enough people.
Knowing you, you're probably correct. You probably are not.
Like the problem is like this is all tense because I am not exercising the flipping ability enough.
But I highly recommend these guys.
You getting a link?
Yeah. Here's the general one for them. Bob and Brad. Let me see if I can find the specific one. Well, real quick, I do have pulled up their desk exercises. Since I know, a lot of our audience, we are sitting a lot.
I remember how, like, even by the time I was in high school, I had a sway back that my mother was trying to help me fix. And it was because I was sitting so much in school. So it is just really just sitting way too much because outside of school, I actually didn't sit that much. I was mostly babysitting and doing childcare. So I was mostly running around after toddlers and children. I was, playing with them or standing around watching them do whatever. I wasn't actually sitting that much when I wasn't at school, but so much of the sitting I was doing at school was not good sitting, because remember those wooden seats? They were terrible.
Oh God.
And then they got plastic seats, and that was even worse. Plus, then you would always get a electroshock from the plastic, from the static.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of all the poor seating at school. So I think it actually starts way before adulthood. All of these, negative physical situations is like how we expect children to sit quietly in these classes in terrible seating.
And not to move. And that's the part that really hurts.
And now they don't even get recess. At least we used to get recess when I was a kid. We got recess twice a day. Plus we got lunch with a short recess after lunch. So we got like a 10-minute recess after lunch, which I actually now think was mostly to get all the farts out of the kids. Like, that's what I actually believe that was for.
There it is.
So I think like it's also affecting like children, and then they grow into adulthood and they are already dealing with this back pain. And unfortunately, I think a lot of young people are thinking, oh, that's just the way it is. That's what it feels like to be an adult, versus no, this is not what it automatically feels like to be an adult. You've just gotten used to a very bad situation.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you need to regularly stretch. Just little bits of stretch. Like it doesn't take, you don't need to even do minutes of it. Like this, do a literal minute of neck stretches twice a day, and you will actually notice a lot of change. The same for arm. It's just making sure the muscles get full range of motion, on a regular basis, and the body has a better sense then of how it's supposed to feel. Often your body tells you pain because it wants you to pay attention and make sure nothing is getting worse. It doesn't actually, your body doesn't even always know what's actually the best situation for it. So it's more of just when you see pain, it's acknowledge it, move it a little bit, and your body may go, oh, okay, I've gotten recalibrated. We're good. Like it's not as big a deal, but it is a note it. Move it around a little bit. You'd be surprised how much that might help. A lot of people who think they are developing carpal tunnel often, sort of in between, but let's talk about, massage. Yes, the worst phrasing I could come up with.
The worst phrasing, Tom. Massage / drainage, groping, stroking, petting, and hot stones. Like,
yes. But a lot of actually...
Tell me you graduated from a legitimate college.
Yes, actually.
Groping, stroking, and petting.
That's what we tend to come up with more, foreign terminology to make it sound better, of effleurage.
I was about to say, I was thinking of effleurage.
Effleurage and percussion. And NMT, neuromuscular therapy. And, all of these of like, but what you're doing, is still just, you are grabbing and relaxing the muscles. You are forcefully stretching them. But a lot of the carpal tunnel pain people talk about actually comes down to your forearm and the muscles on top that pull your fingers and hand back, and the muscles on the bottom that pull your hand and fingers forward. There's actually not really much muscle in your hand. So the carpal tunnel is when these are both tightened at the same time. When one tightens, the other's supposed to relax. That's how it's supposed to function. But if it doesn't ever get a chance to fully relax because they're not fully stretching, so it doesn't know what is fully tightened and what is fully relaxed, they'll say semi-tightened because they think that's the tone it needs to keep. So you just once or twice a day.
You grope it. You grope it like the rudest man ever, and it's your butt.
Well,
but it's not.
somewhere
It's
between that and it's spaghetti that's stuck together, and you want to get the spaghetti noodles, the dry spaghetti noodles to relax.
My muscles are tenser than that, so like spaghetti noodles is...
But yes, grope your arm like the rudest old man groping a butt. And then do the underside. Do the counterpart. And this will help a lot with the tension and discomfort and inflammation that builds up in your wrist. Because once it's truly inflamed and you need to go see a doctor, it's hard to heal that. At that point, it is a losing game. You want to avoid getting to that stage where you need to go see a surgeon.
Yeah, because they're going to just cut up whatever you got. Like, that's the problem with a surgeon.
And it just buys time. It will actually get worse again in 10 years. So the better result is to just, again, once or twice a day for a few minutes, just grope and move the muscle. Move it sideways, back and forth. In a way it's not used to moving. You're moving opposite of the direction it moves.
It shouldn't hurt.
No.
It should just feel like firm pressure, maybe something new sensation-wise. So, like, have you ever felt something where you're like, does that hurt or not? And then you're like, oh, no, that doesn't hurt. It just felt weird or it felt different. That's approximately what it should feel like. It should just feel different, but not actually painful. If it's painful, you're probably applying too much pressure.
Yeah.
Or groping.
If you're doing this on someone else and they're feeling pain, again, you're probably applying too much pressure because
hurts right here though, on my left. I need to go back to the massage therapist.
Yeah, you do.
I should probably stop them in the hallway.
Body check them in the hallway. Make sure you can't escape.
Now rub it. Rub it.
By the way, I like that I'm not the one who gets called out for it. Spence is like, haha, Gloria said grope. Double standards. But yeah, really, it's the groping motion. This, the massage. We all know what massage is. We all talk about it. But what you want to do is you're moving the muscle 90 degrees from its normal motion. So the muscle tightens in this direction. It is going, back and forth is how the muscle tightens. When I massage, I want to move absolutely 90 degrees opposite, back and forth. That is the real secret to get the muscle to relax, to get nutrients in there. And also you start light, and as you're, the camera is going to cut out a lot of the redness, but you can still see around here, it's a bit more red than the rest of me. As it starts to redden, that means it's got more blood flow in there. And then you can go firmer because it means the muscle's starting to relax and allow more nutrients in. A good way to tell where's muscles tight on a person is to do this just sort of mild groping, just grab and release for a minute anywhere on someone's body. And then see which parts are bright red and which parts are pale. Mm-hmm. Every part that's pale is knotted up and tight and needs to be worked more. Regular skin should redden when you grab and release.
So, and for darker skin tones, it's, it may not appear red, but what's going to happen is actually going to appear slightly darker.
Yeah.
Visually, so that is the equivalent of reddening on darker skin tones. So just be aware of what that looks like. It's not going to redden necessarily, or you won't be able to perceive it. It will instead have a darker or shadowed appearance. And that is the same thing as reddening on a lighter skin tone.
But yeah, you see how the arm I've been working on, see how they're a little bit different. And that is really what you're trying to do with massage. The next part I always bring up, the stroking and petting, the much more mild touch. This is useful for getting the literally the word just ran out of my brain. Your immune system.
The lymph system?
Yeah, the lymph system. In your skin to get it to move quicker. Your lymph system drains into your major joint connections. So it drains under your arms, and up top at the bottom it drains where your thighs meet your upper body, in your pelvis. And so that is what you are literally just petting towards. You want to start close to there, and then you extend further each time to just help tickle the lymph system. No, really, you are tickling it, to drain in that part. And again, you're just speeding up the nutrient dispersion. You are massage gets nutrients into the muscle, and petting gets the metabolites and used up products out of the system quicker. And that is why you always start with massage and you finish with petting.
It's like if cats had proper fingers.
Yes.
If you've you ever seen cats making biscuits? Right. And then have you ever seen a cat pet something, which is wild to see, but when they do that, this like when they're doing their claws on your couch.
Why?
But like when they're doing it on scratch post, that is very similar to what you need to do without claws to human skin. Is you're just running your fingers along petting.
Mm-hmm. And so if you are petting the upper body, again, you want to pet close to the closest large joint. So from here, it goes there. On this side, it goes there. Same for my lower section. An easy way to tell if you have fluid retention in your body is fat has a consistency close to butter. Like if you've ever picked up a pound of butter that's room temp and you slapped it, that's really what fat feels like. Water, on the other hand, feels like Jell-O. And we've all had a few parts of our bodies that are like, this thing is like a Jell-O jiggler. What the heck? Often that is actually water retention where muscles have tightened up and made it hard for the lymph system to function, or where you've had tight clothing that has also restricted the lymph system and made it harder for it to drain. And so that is where the petting really comes in handy to help drain and move the lymph system through the body. And that is, my one right up. And lastly, not discussed very often, but I think everyone should know, hot stones. Hot stones are a fascinating form of massage if you know someone who has them. They are warm. They are usually on the edge of what is comfortable for the person. You need someone who's experienced who knows how to do hot stone. But also this works to a certain degree with those, what are they called? Made out of sodium acrylate, I think, or acetate. Those hot pads, those little chemical ones that you can boil to reset, that has a little disc in it to flick. You can also do it with these to a certain degree. And that is, you get something that's very hot, you get it very hot. It's, 105 to 110 even. And you run it on the muscles. And if you are someone who has very...
Now I found one. There, I found a picture that actually shows up.
If you are someone who has naturally very tight muscles that don't want to relax, I have found hot stones are very good at getting even those people and those muscles that are very tight to relax. For whatever reason, that level of warmth tends to give the signal the muscle needs of, you can just let go now. And so if you're someone who's like, I've been to a massage therapist and I don't feel any better, and I never feel this, my muscles never feel much relaxed or anything. If you find someone around who does hot stone, and try that one instead. And you may find you actually get the same kind of effect most people get from massage with hot stone.
I have been surprised how many people have told me, I tried massage a couple times and it didn't really do anything for me. And honestly, like what I've done several times, say, well, Tom does hot stone. You want to give that a try. And Tom goes with his massage table to people's houses, and where he's gone to their house with his hot stones and done that. And they have like reported back to me of, oh my God, that was totally different. That was amazing. I swear I went to a different kind of consciousness because their muscles were finally relaxed and released. And so it really helped them, brain wise, it helped them neurology wise. Like, again, all that static cleared out. And like, they were like, that was amazing. Is that like what you get out of massage? Like, yes, that is what I found is for people who I've tried it a couple times and it was just okay. It wasn't great. There wasn't a reason to go back. Then what I have found is suggesting they do hot stone instead, even not through Tom, but just anybody who's trained hot stone. And like, it has been surprising how many people have come back to me and said, that was like a different living experience. That was not like anything I was expecting. Because again, you're heating up the muscle enough and rubbing the heat into the muscle and it releases. That locked up feeling finally releases so all the metabolites can be flushed out. And yeah, it is practically a spiritual experience.
But I mean, it is actually something similar to what a lot of people feel with using very warm to hot water and a massaging shower head. It's really what they're going for. It's the same effect as a hot stone massage. There's something about that pressure combined with heat on the edge of what your body is comfortable with that gets the muscle to finally go, fine, I don't care anymore. I'm going on break.
Right.
To get it to relax, that really helps you relax then. Because you can only relax as much as your muscles relax. People who are anxious often have very tense muscles, and it's a self-feedback loop. So if we can get one to relax, then the other part will relax too. What are people saying?
Roy. I enjoy his dog park, and he didn't eat anything. He was such a good boy. I sat and let me put the leash back on him. Good boy.
Oh, very good boy. And then one that they were talking about school. I had to actually go out and do my own research to find out more. And it's speaking of tense muscles that don't want to relax. Because a general rule is the longer a muscle has stayed tense, the more it wants to stay tense, the more difficult it will be to relax. So if you've only gotten recently a tight muscle, it'll relax within a few minutes of working on it. But if that muscle has been tense and tight for a decade or more, getting it to relax can take, an hour or two sometimes of work. And that is where getting something electrically powered, instead of wearing out somebody's, hands and arms, is, really beneficial. And for that, that's where TENS units comes in, and just personal massagers. We've also seen the popularity now of percussion massagers, that literally are just a ball or a different shape on the end that goes onto the muscle. And these both can be very effective if you know how to use them. Again, with the percussion massagers, you want to, not do it to you should not be feeling pain. You just want to feel motion and maybe a bit of tension. TENS units are electrical. They work well. the trick is you put them in the center of the muscle, the belly of the muscle. You don't put them on your knee where the muscles connect. You put them in the center of the muscle to get it to tighten it and then relax it. You're again essentially trying to get it to reach its full range of motion, to tighten as much as possible, so that when it relaxes, it'll relax more. And these are very effective for,
They don't hurt. They do not have to hurt.
They do not have to hurt. If you like anything else, if you turn the power up too much, they can. That's bad.
But it's not something of like, oh, anytime you use a TENS unit, it hurts. Like, maybe you're not using it the best way. Because again, if you have if you have a locked muscle and you're trying to use a TENS unit on it to get it to unlock, the way, like, for instance, I found works for me is not to just start with it at max level, but to instead build up it 15 minutes at a time to, like, more slowly unlock the muscle. So it can take me, 2 15-minute sessions in the same day to actually get it to unlock. But again, it's not painful that way, versus if we were trying to do all of it to unlock in 15 minutes, it could be quite painful. So again, it does not need to be painful, and pain is not necessarily a good sign when you're using a TENS unit. So what's a good sign is where you place it and then the muscles move on their own, and it's kind of fun.
But again,
and it doesn't hurt when you do that.
So as an easy example, your arm muscles, muscles that move your hand, this is the belly of your muscles. That's why it's built up bigger here than it is here, or right there, because this is where the majority of your muscle is. And so that's about where you want to put one of the pads for the TENS unit. And another easy way is just feel around for where's the knot. The knot is usually in the center of the muscle. Put it right there, because you're trying to get it to tighten and then relax. Tighten up more, relax. You are trying to overwork it so it will stop being in too much tension.
TENS stands for transcutaneous electrical something or other.
Transmuscular electrical,
transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. I looked it up.
Yeah, it's like
the NHS says. That is what the NHS says it is.
Yeah, I was thinking of a different device, and it's like, wait, no, I'm thinking of another one.
Mm-hmm. Also, do not place a TENS unit across your chest here, because you do not want the electricity to go across your heart. That'd be bad. Don't do that.
For most people, it won't really do anything, but you'll find out real quick if you've got any kind of errors in your heart.
If you have any irregularity, you're about to find out. Don't do it.
So it's always, you put it on one side or you put it on the other. Maybe you'll put one here and you'll put one there, but you do not cross the heart.
It's like Ghostbusters. Don't cross.
But yeah, again, we want to release the tension. And again, this is a good part of spa day of, why you take your time when you can. You do these little parts throughout your day and throughout your week. And then when you have more time, you set aside several hours and you do a couple of these treatments at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the last part of the spa is anyone who's ever been to a massage therapist.
Water, what a treat.
Drink even more water. It's mostly because you've just had more metabolites go into your system, so your kidneys need to filter out more. So it's just help your kidneys a bit for the next few hours and drink an extra bottle or two of water. And also, humans are set up to remember the beginning and end of things. And so make sure the ending of your spa treatment is pleasant and happy. This is
Like
the
with
time
a treat.
with a treat.
You deserve a treat too.
With something
Chocolate
you
for
enjoy.
everyone. Cheesecake for everyone. Whatever.
And also, if you want, this is a good time to nap.
Oh, I love spa nap. Don't cross the streams.
But yeah, when you're doing spa, drink a bit of water to start with and all that. But when you finish and for several hours after you do these treatments, drink extra water.
Anytime you're stimulating the skin, your skin, what you are really getting things flowing and moving. And it's going to be extra work for your kidneys. So even just doing like facial stuff and like rubbing oils into your skin, you are going to be moving things along, y'all. And so you need to drink extra water to help the flow, because everything must flow. Okay, that's why I used to think like, they just push water. I mean, like literally, when I first started going to massage therapist that first year, I was like, they got a real water agenda. Are they like subsidized by Nestle or something? Like, what is this? And then I found out, no, it's because if you get a full hour massage, it really does tax your organs, because all this stuff's now floating around. It's moving. It's been unlodged. And you really do need to drink at like 16 more ounces of water minimum. I think it's actually like the science says 18 ounces for a full grown man. Like, you really do need to drink an extra 2 cups or more of water that day if you've had a full body massage.
But since most people just don't drink enough in general, that's what's like, drink an extra bottle or 2. At least for one day, be fully hydrated.
So yeah, because that first year where I was going like at least once a month, was like, they got a real water agenda. I guess it's just like the in thing that they're like, oh, and here's the bottle of water. I'm like, sure, whatever. But yeah, no, there was a real reason. And once I found that out, I started chugging that water within an hour of leaving the spa. And y'all, I really did feel better within 6 hours, because it was all getting flushed out of my system, rather than, because sometimes I would feel kind of groggy or just feel a little icky that night after a massage. And I didn't understand why. And it was because the water agenda I was ignoring. So once I found that out, it's like I just chug it like I'm at a frat house. Just chug it. And I would, yes, I would have to go pee after that. But then I would feel so much better. And I started getting a much better massage experience after that, of just chug the water they give you. Chug it.
But yeah, I think that's most of what I wanted to mention for today's show. Does anyone have questions? Anything they wanted to know more about? And believe me, if there's any question, if you need links for anything, let me know. I'll get them for you. There ain't nothing on here that I don't have plenty of links for, but I'm never sure what people don't already have. Like, doesn't everyone have their own YouTube meditation list, as well as for Spotify and everything of, this is what I listen to when I relax?
Spence says also apparently be prepared to poop. Yes, it'll move everything through.
Well, I hope y'all got a better sense of why and how to do a spa treatment.
Cherry has just massaged and petted her arms. Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. If you are someone who types a lot, if you're a creative type who works with your hands, your far arms need a lot more love than they are getting.
Mm-hmm. And if you've just massaged and petted your arms along with us today, then you definitely need to drink more water. I'm not kidding. Like, those metabolites now have been unlodged, and now they're making their way to your heart and your kidneys, and you need to flush them out. You need to pee them out and poop them out. You will feel better.
But I mean, yeah, this is a lot of stuff you can do for yourself at home.
Yeah, you can massage your own feet. Like in bed while you watch TV or a movie or something, you can massage your own feet and calves. You can pet your own feet and calves. Especially like if you're the kind of person who stands a lot or stands periods and sits periods, you can do that. And, you know, massaging lovely like peppermint scented oils into your feet if you like. It feels so refreshing. Sure, got her water and roasted peanuts. Did you get your towel just in case? It's a Douglas Adams reference. These are things you can incorporate for better health. Like you don't need to go out and pay for massages.
Although it is always great if you can find a friend to trade off with. Because there's definitely angles and positions it's hard to get in yourself to work on. That's easier for someone else, especially your back. But yeah, like this is part of the science they have found of where no, humans really do literally need each other's physical touch to be healthy. We need touch. Our skin relies on mechanical touch to do some of its work. We just function better.
I did want to, since we did talk about it, I want to go ahead and show the hot reusable heat packs that you were talking about, Tom.
Yes, I love these things.
This is not a brand endorsement, but I just wanted y'all to know what you're looking for. You are specifically looking for these clear or semi-clear plastic or vinyl type containers filled with a gel. And they all have this metal disc in them. Okay? That is what you are specifically looking for, are the ones with this disc in it. There. Do you see it?
And because that's a good way to warm up the muscles, and more muscles are much easier to relax.
And this is how you, it heats up. When you heat it, when you pop that little disc, it starts a catalytic reaction. And so the whole thing heats up. These crystals suddenly start forming. That's where the heat's coming from. And you're playing with it and everything, but eventually it'll harden. As it cools, it hardens. And the reason why it's reusable is you boil them, like in the bag, you boil them, and then you let them cool, and then you use them again. Okay, so and you can use them
7 minutes in boiling water.
It's like you could use them for like what, 200 to 500 times or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It depends on the one, like how
and
many.
Often, and actually after they tend to last a bit longer. They don't get as hot. The first few times you use it, they'll get super hot. Make sure you have a towel for them. But after that, the reactions will be a little bit slower. It won't harden as hard as quickly. It'll be a more gentle heat, and that's when they get really good to work with massage.
And they last. They don't get hard as fast either after a couple times. So like they stay warm. As long as you can keep moving the crystals around, it'll keep re-warming up. It's great. And do you see how there's like this white kind of part and then that clear part? That is, they just started the reaction. So that's what's going to happen. I just wanted y'all to know. Because a lot of people have never heard of this, and you can use these camping. You can use these when you're out in the cold, like you want to go to a parade or something. You can use these, but they are wonderful. Instead of doing hot stones, which are super heavy, and also all these rocks, and then you need a roaster to heat it. You can just get these reusable packs. And they're good for several hundred times. Tom has I don't know, 10 of these.
Yeah.
And that Tom uses now instead of the hot stones, and his clients love it. And often they'll buy them for themselves because, again, you can use them anytime. So they're also, have I in fact used medical tape to tape one of these while I'm having cramps, to tape it to my belly? Yes. Did I regret it? No, I was at work and it was wonderful and I had no no cords. I was not connected to like a heating pad or anything. I just medical taped it to my skin and went about my day. It was wonderful. And like at lunch, I switched it out with another one and taped that to. It was great. Oh God, that lovely gentle heat. Oh, so good. So it has so many uses, and yeah, you boil it for 7 minutes, and it reactivates it. It'll gel back, and then it doesn't. It's not going to be hot. It cools down until you do the little disc inside. Till you pop it, you back and forth through the bag, and that starts the chemical reaction again. So you can use them all the time, and you don't have to have any electricity or anything to start it up. So it's like, where were these when I was in band, in marching band? So I just wanted y'all to know what these are, because so many people, even camping people, don't know these exist. And like, if you are into camping in the winter, autumn, or spring, then these are a lifesaver.
And they are non-toxic.
Yeah. Like it's okay if somebody accidentally, cuts one, like a little corner or something.
Because
I've known people who forgot, put the heated up one in their pocket, was in the same pocket with a pocket knife, and there was a sharp edge on the closed knife, and they're like, "Am my skin about to come off?" Like, no, it's a salt. Don't worry.
Yeah, all it actually is, it's a super saturation liquid. They put more than should normally be able to dissolve. And so what happens is when you flick that little thing, you give it a place for a crystal to form, and then everything crystallizes and releases that extra heat it's got absorbed in it. And it just becomes an exothermic. But it's sodium acetate. It's not gonna hurt your skin. It ain't gonna hurt anything. And you just, rinse it with water to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's nothing to worry about. I wouldn't drink it, but it's fine on anything it gets on.
Yeah, you just wash it out. I mean, the pack is not usable again.
Yeah.
Because it's from a leak. But yeah, like, I just wanted y'all to know about it. It's wonderful. And again, even if you're not going to tape it to your belly. I was desperate one day. I had to work and I was going to be standing. It was
understandable.
And I just was like, It felt so good to have that heat right there taped to it.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
But yeah. Okay. Let's see. What are we doing next week?
Hey, Kat.
Hi.
Good to see you. Hope the nap was good.
Okay. July 11th. We should be talking about apocalyptic budgeting and income generating. Dom, these are your pitches. What you got?
I wanted to talk about, again, budgeting to keep yourself sane.
Mm-hmm.
Some different ways to look at budgeting instead of this negativity I often see with budgeting.
Oh, yes. What is it? What was that word Dottie used to use? That terrible word. Not rationing.
Austerity?
Yes. Austerity
budgeting.
Oh, God. It's like every time she's like, we're on an austerity budget this month, and all I could hear in my head was Annie Lennox, no more I love yous. Because it meant we were not going to have any fun. Nothing special. It was just the minimum food to get us through. Nobody's allowed to use electricity unless you absolutely must. It's kind of like, yeah.
But let's get around this, because you need to take care of yourself. This whole, as the memes have now gotten back to, countering, truly, I stopped having my avocado toast and Starbucks every day, and now I have a down payment on a house. Is never going to happen.
That's BS.
That is not why you do not have the money to put down on a house. But if your avocado toast and Starbucks helps you look forward to each day
Mm-hmm.
and go, you know what, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Then, that is more functional budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
Then, hey, I saved $5. I put away $5 today.
But at what cost? At the cost of your happiness? At the cost of your joy? At the cost of having something to look forward to that day that you actually wanted? So really a very different philosophical approach to budgeting and income generating. On July 18th, we're going to talk about grief and the many ways we grieve. Or the alternate title so far that is written in is This Isn't the Darkest Timeline and It Still Sucks. There is you can't, you're not going to get to the age of 30 without experiencing grief. No adult will. Hell, I think most people don't get to the age of 22 without experiencing grief, because at some point in your life, early in your life, you're going to realize that the hopes and dreams you had for yourself are going to need adjustment at the very least. Let alone if anyone passes away, whether it's a beloved pet or a beloved human, at some point someone's going to pass away. And even if you didn't actually love them, maybe there's somebody in your family that was like semi-abusive, you are still going to have to deal with grief, because you will never be able to tell them off again. And that generates its own kind of grief. So we're going to talk about grief. I just saw Charlie's. And then on July 25th, we're going to go out with a bang. Music to soothe your inner lizard. That's right. Get your playlists together now. Start working on your playlists to share with everybody on July 25th. So, right, it's another call for bring out your playlist. Bring out your playlist. Bring out your playlist. Everybody share your playlist, whatever playlist it is. Whether it's a playlist to grieve to or a playlist to dance to, or maybe grieve and dance at the same time. That is a thing. Or maybe it's a playlist to cook in the kitchen. I've got one. I've got it in the kitchen one. Whatever your playlist that you want to share with everybody. Maybe it's your summer playlist. Hot summer music. Whatever you've got, start working on your playlist. We're going to do a playlist share of music, both a share of music playlist as well as just one, like songs, if you just have a song you want to share. So keep working on it, Brad. So just start thinking about that now, about, do I have an idea for music I want to share July 25th episode? Again, if you need to share it ahead of time because you won't be able to join us that day, or if you end up not being able to join us, be sure to put them in the comments, and we'll be sure to post them. We're going to post everybody's playlist and their music to the Discord server so people can go back later as well for convenience sake. And any music platform, you can also make playlists on whatever you got and share it, because you never know who's also using those music platforms. Whether we talk about Spotify or Pandora or Apple or, I don't know, things. Whatever the young people are using now. I don't know. I'm ancient. I don't know. Vinyl. I don't know. Whatever people are using. But that is the rest of this month's lineup. Again, I'm going to just reiterate, July 11th, next Monday, we're going to talk about budgeting and income generating, specifically apocalyptic budgeting, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but it's apocalypse. Anytime you're in a plague, it's automatically an apocalypse. And then if you're in a plague and another plague starts, you're definitely in an apocalypse.
Did you know that according to NPR, more than 90% of fireworks technicians are no longer,
In the
available
industry?
since 2020?
Was there a reason or just?
They just said people left. I'm just like, I think a lot of them passed away because if you think about it, fireworks technicians are the type who are like, yeah, no, I'm safe. I'm confident in my own knowledge.
You mean you didn't wear masks at the beginning of the? Yeah.
But 90%.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So like there's a major problem with fireworks events today and yesterday.
Yeah. Although I hear they're working on doing it with drones, and I'm not sad about that because I don't like the loud noise. So I'm like,
Yeah. Also, it's just fun to see the stuff the drones can do coordinated now.
It's really awesome. Cool. It's like, ooh, it's like something out of an animation. It's so cool. Spence has a playlist exclusively for when she wants men to sing at her. I'm intrigued.
Yes.
Very, very.
Glory has been working on a list of songs that depending on the person, susses out which type of person are you, because there are a few songs that certain types of people cannot help but sing response to.
It's how I like dog whistle people in a room and they can't, and certain people of like, if they're of that persuasion, they cannot help but then sing the chorus or sing the rest of the line too. And so it is how I suss them out, but in a good way. I'm not trying to like suss out people who it's not safe for them, but it is something I've noticed. Also, I have several playlists for, what is it? Bass and baritone singers, because sometimes Tom is sad and Tom needs to sing. And so when Tom is sad and Tom needs to sing, he's like, there's nothing in my range. Nothing, Glory. And I'm like, I love baritones. There are plenty of good baritone songs. And he's like, no. Nothing. And so I have a couple playlists for that Tom cannot help but sing to.
Is that not just the Beetlejuice test?
Spence says, OMG, I need the fake personality test for this playlist. LOL, give me like 10 minutes. I'll throw it in the Discord. Awesome. So, yes, I actually have more than one playlist for Tom to sing to, depending on the mood he's in. Whether he just needs to warm up his voice or whether he needs to actually like sing things that will put him in a better mood. Because finks heal themselves through singing and talking. A quiet fink is a fink in pain. And a fink that has yet to heal. Like literally the vibrations our voice makes actually helps heal us. So the more we sing and talk, the faster our body can heal. So again, part of the fink healing process is to convince finks to sing. It's an important factor. So anyhow, that's what we're going to be talking about. If you have budgeting tips, or you have income generation tips, or you have any ideas at all, or you just have questions, we'd love to have you here. Also, you can post ahead of time, or you can make comments afterwards in case you miss. Like, we know that life happens, and sometimes some of y'all mean to be here, but, things happen and you couldn't join us. You can always comment later. We do try to pay attention. YouTube is not good about telling us when we have comments, though. So please feel free to follow up, because we are not trying to ignore you. Anything else? Final thoughts? Nothing?
Have fun, love yourself, touch yourself. Have someone else touch you.
Oh, no.
You're human, you need touch.
It's true. I mean, you could get a dog to do it, or a cat.
Yeah.
If you're just not into people, you could get a cat to make biscuits, or like a golden retriever. You can train golden retrievers to pet. Apparently, they're getting really good at that. They're petting each other now. pretty cool. But we will see y'all next week. And this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be on our Twitch stream, Glory Rates the Blues, where we will work on Monday's show. If you would like to come and join us, see the process. We also do sprints during that. So if you want to get some, writing or anything done. Get groping, y'all. Do you like it? Is that what you wanted? Did I do what you wanted? Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. We will see you next time.